You stay on hard.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon. When it rains, it pours. Welcome to I almost said Sunday. It's the Monday afternoon edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. Brian Fulford and A.D. Drew here, back in our home studios after
I'm just happy to be back home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what a weekend. What a weekend. Of course, Drew and I were in Miami Gardens yesterday afternoon/evening, broadcasting the Orange Blossom Classic. Had to get up and drive home this morning, and obviously we made it. So congratulations, Drew, to you for getting home, and props to me for getting home as well. But then I had computer issues, so here I am.
You need to congratulate me for swimming to the stadium like I had to swim to the stadium on yesterday, my brother.
You were holding on to that like a kid who can't swim in a pool with a life preserver.
Man, I'm number one. Drowning is one of the top causes of death for African Americans.
Oh my God.
And which means a lot of us can't swim, and I am part of the category of us. I can do enough. God. I can do enough to get to the shore or to get to the edge of the pool.
Well, okay, I was going to say to the shore. Depending on how far out you are, whether you can make it to the shore or not, Drew. You know that.
Okay, Drew ain't going that far. The water get above Drew knees when he go to the ocean. That's
it. Not the knees, knees, Drew.
When the waves come in and if they get to be a chest, I'm done.
Oh my goodness!
I'll take a few around the waist, but be a chest when they start washing my deodorant away, I got to go. I got to come out.
Yeah, at that point, that's the point where it gets dangerous. I got you, man. I got you. All right. Well, welcome to everybody who found us, who made sure to have your bell notifications and all that stuff. We say hello to everyone who might be watching us via the Jericho Broadcast Network YouTube page at MyJBN Online, or you could be watching us on our Black College Sports Network Facebook page. Or the BCSN SportsWrap Facebook page. So we say hello to all of you. And, of course, to our people watching on X via Black College Sports Network at MyBCSN1, the number one. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media handles, if you would. And there you can follow Drew and myself of our individual pages. So, well, Drew, we finally got week one out of the way. We finally had, week one, according to the FCA, week one-ish, because, my first rant of the day goes to NCAA Division II. Why are you trying to be so different? Why can't you just call this week one? Why?
Let me cut you off. I thought it was just me, Brian. Your audio is very muffled and choppy. And I'm getting a couple comments in the comment section. I don't know if you got your AirPods that you can put in or something that may help with your audio.
Well, that's what I am on. That's what I am on.
Ooh, that ain't good.
Well, I don't know what I mean. I'm seeing a good volume here. My Bluetooth headset. I don't have anything else, Drew. I mean, again, I'm doing this on. I don't know what else to do. I don't have any other options. So you're not hearing very well because I'm hearing you clearly.
I'm trying to see if I'm trying to manually keep talking. I'm trying to manually adjust your mic in the settings.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe that'll help because I'm. I mean, I don't know. I'm on my my Bluetooth headset, and I don't have any other headphones. They don't make the phones with the. They don't make the Samsungs like that anymore. So I got Samsung Bluetooth and the Samsung phone. So if the Samsung isn't working, I don't know what to tell you.
I made an adjustment. I can notice the difference. I'm pretty sure the people, our beloved family, will let us know the difference if that adjustment worked. And
Right.
speaking of our people, Bryan, I want to thank the over 5,000 people who logged in to hear you and I get back together and to do a football game. I can't. Bryan, have we actually ever done a football game together? I know we've done basketball. I know we've done baseball. I know we have done football. You have done football. I mean, I said football, softball together. You have done football.
I've never done softball with you.
We didn't do softball together.
No, that was you. Okay. I never did a softball game. I don't recall doing a softball game.
Okay, maybe I'm stretching, but I don't recall us both ever being in the studio together or in the broadcast booth together for a football game either. Well, let me rephrase that. Where both of us were actually doing the call. We've been together, but usually one of us is behind the scenes and only one of us has a microphone.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I don't recall what. There may be one from about 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't recall it.
Okay. We never did one of those Benedict games. We did some Benedict games the last 2 or 3 seasons.
But I don't think we were together. I think it was either you or I. I don't recall us both being at a Benedict game.
Okay.
We had Sly the Sports Guy. We had JB Walker. We had Coach. I can't think of his last name. Coach Robinson, I believe his name, from Benedict with us on the call. But I don't recall you and I ever being there together. I know when we were doing Edward Waters games, you and I were never on the air together, although we worked some games together. You never worked a game at Tuskegee with me when I did a Tuskegee game or a Miles game. So I think that was our first time actually doing football together.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it probably was. It probably was our first time together, and it was a good game. We got a good game, and so it was a pleasure doing that with you. Although you went Tony Romo on me a few times, but it's all good, man. I'm if you know, you know. But it's
I ain't
all good
with you, Bryan.
Hey, if it were anyone else, if it were anyone else, I would have been really upset. But because it was you, it's just I just kind of know it's coming. So
you just know how I am sometimes. I get excited. I'm passionate.
Look, and that's why you do a great job. So I mean, I don't have any complaints. I know other people might feel differently, but that's why we are a team, and so we've been doing this thing together. So it is what it is, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and appreciate me. I saw Mary 305's comments. Appreciate you tuning in and showing love. You guys, give me a thumbs up in the chat. I can kind of see the chats and let me know if my audio is sounding better. Hopefully, it is. If not, I don't know how to fix it, so it's just gonna be stuck. We're gonna be stuck like Chuck today. Okay, so week 1 is out of the way. Week 1 is in the books, and let me see. Okay, good job. Appreciate you, Rashad White. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, week 1 is in the books officially, man, and we got a lot to break down. So on today's show, what we're going to do is we're going to go through sort of the top 5 games, our top 5 games from the weekend. Take a look at some of the top 5 performers from the weekend. Give you some winners and losers, just in general as we see it. And then we'll look ahead to the upcoming week and see what that looks like. And I think we do. Are we bringing in Coach Farasi on this episode?
We're going to bring him in at the bottom of the hour.
Okay, bottom of hour 1, Coach Farasi is going to come in and help us break down a few games that he was paying attention to. Before we get started, Drew, I got to pump my chest. Well, I got to be careful here. I don't want to pump too hard, but I just want to give a shout out to the people who joined the Pick 5 contest. You not being one of them, so I'm gonna call you out on that. But anyway, it is the BCSN SportsWrap Pick 5, and only half of the co-hosting show joined.
Can I get it? Can I go ahead and give the excuse, bro?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Bro, I was moving around so much this weekend, I totally forgot.
Well,
I was planning on doing it when I was in Montgomery at volleyball with Alabama State, but I just like we had issues in Miami Gardens, I had issues in Montgomery, and it threw me off for the rest of the day. Anyway, and by the way, great job, Alabama State going 3-0 in their tournament. They played one HBCU, South Carolina State, and then they played 2 non-HBCUs in Nicholls State and why am I drawing a blank?
This is a tournament they hosted, right?
Right. It was a tournament that they hosted. I want to say McNeese, okay, but I think I may be wrong with that one. I have to pull it back up. But they did go. Okay. They did go 3-0, dropping only one set in the 3 games that they played.
Right. And I think, Drew, we didn't talk about showing volleyball some love in this episode. Obviously, I'm without my computer, so hopefully you are able to pull some of that info up at some point during the show. You know, we'll see. Yeah. Since you mentioned volleyball.
And should we tell them the secret about volleyball, Bryan?
The secret? What secret?
Well, we know it, but a lot of our listeners don't know about what we're going to be doing with volleyball this year.
Oh no! Don't release that yet. No, don't.
No, it's not being released. It's just the fact that it's coming.
Let's hold on to that.
Let's hold on to that.
Yeah, let's hold on to it. But yeah, what we can say is we are going to expand some coverage about volleyball. How about that? We can say that.
Okay.
Yeah. We can say we're going to expand our coverage of volleyball this year, and we're excited about that. More news to come. How about that?
Yeah. As a girl dad, I'm happy.
There you go. Okay, so that's the lineup for this afternoon show, and let's kind of get into our top 5 games here, because we want to get through 4 of these games, and then we'll go over the 5th game with Coach Farasi. Let's start with the one of the earlier afternoon games, and that took place in Fort Valley, Georgia. And I'll tell you what, that rat poison, boy, Drew, that rat poison is something serious. And Clark Atlanta with a 45-42 victory over Fort Valley State. My personal favorite to make it to the SIC championship game. And just, when you have a quarterback, look, the two most important positions on any football team, Drew, coach, quarterback. Clark Atlanta now has both. And so with Teddy Keaton in his first year trying to I'm going to call it rebuilding that program at Clark Atlanta. And he's doing it with his SIC. No, what? You're putting a timeout on it?
Yes. Bryan,
okay.
There had to be something there in order for you to rebuild. He is building the program.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, he got off to a solid start. As a good foundation was built in his first game at Clark Atlanta on the road against one of the blue bloods of the SIC. They get a 45-42 win. A game that really, they probably they had a lead by almost as much as 2 touchdowns in that contest, I believe.
After trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Right. Opened the game trailing by 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, Mr. SIC Player of the Year, should have been the preseason Player of the Year. David Wright, the quarterback, ends up throwing 7 touchdowns. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. 7 touchdowns, 416 yards, and he was slinging it all over the field. And people I had a great conversation with Coach Farasi. We'll talk about it, I'm sure. But people who may have doubted or had not seen David Wright,
Coach Farasi,
they are believers. We tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. You tried to tell
I told you 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I didn't vote them number 4 in Dr. Cavill's poll, but man, I tell you, what a debut by Clark Atlanta.
Yeah, great debut. But Bryan, what's the title of our show? Way
Something
too
about
early to jump off the ledge.
And I'm sure that's referencing to the Fort Valley State folks.
Well, I'm telling you to pump your brakes about Clark Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Wow, they had a great performance against a good Fort Valley team. Don't sleep on Fort Valley and think that they are going to be going to be poo-pooed in this conference we call the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. But as you heard on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on yesterday morning, Clark Atlanta still has some faults, and they were exposed in that game. Number one being their special teams.
Yeah.
And for the best word that I can say, their special teams were atrocious.
Yeah.
2 muff punts to start the game, put you down 14-0.
Yeah.
I said it yesterday. The math don't math. When your quarterback throws 7 touchdown passes, you should have at least 49 points.
Should. Yeah.
At least. That's assuming you had gone for 2 at somewhere in there.
Right.
You only had 45 points. That means there was not 1, not 2. There was at least 2, if not up to 4, between 2 and 4 times you had issues on your PATs. Now, you may have been chasing points at some point in time, but those failed conversions count as special teams. And the lack of a running game by Clark Atlanta allowed Fort Valley to make that last ditch drive, that last ditch effort to tie the game. And I don't know if y'all saw the last play of the game. But I was watching the last play of the game. Yeah. That game very easily could have gone to Fort Valley on the Hail Mary by arguably the second best quarterback in the SIAC and Kelvin Durham, who
threw a great ball.
Slang that ball
was a great throw.
60 plus yards. That ball had to travel 65 to 70 yards because they were on the other side. They were on the other side of midfield. That ball went at least 5 yards into the end zone.
Yeah,
and I don't know how far behind the line he was when he threw it. So I'm going to say 60 to 65 yards. That ball was in the air, and that ball stood in the air probably I haven't seen punt stay in the air that long, Brian. That ball was in the air about at least 4 seconds.
I exactly. When I saw it and I watched the camera really did a great job of panning, and I was like, "Oh my God, how high up in the air did he throw that?" I mean, that was amazing. That, you know what, Drew? That was like, you know, in basketball, you sometimes practice half-court shots at the end of the game. That felt like one of those balls that he has done maybe at the end of a practice, or he does on a regular, just in simulation. Okay, guys, let's go to our Hail Mary play. And I mean, that was, wow. It was an amazing throw, and it had amazing hang time on it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, going back to the basketball reference, we couldn't end practice until somebody hit a half court shot.
Right.
Yeah. So you had to shoot a half court shot to end practice. Somebody had to hit one from behind half court to end practice after you did all your running. Just
exactly.
But it always it came through because every now and then there was a game. You've already practiced it. Anyway, getting back to it. So those are the things that I am cautiously optimistic on Clark Atlanta. But let's give them to it. Take those 14 points away from Clark Atlanta. That Fort Valley scored. Their defense played decent until late in the fourth quarter. I think that's something that is going to improve as conditioning improves throughout the season. First game, a lot of energy expended, and you saw a few teams where you saw some late fourth quarter comebacks this weekend because defenses were gassed.
Yeah. And quick point, that was a conference game, correct?
Yes, that game counts.
Okay, even though it was week 0. See, you cut me off. You cut me off on my rant, but I'm telling you, Division II, shame on you for trying to give us a different calendar when the rest of the NCAA is giving us week 1. But anyway, I'm not going to go there because we'll get into a long discussion, and we're not going to do that today. Not going to do it. But anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's time. It's about time for our break and time to bring on our coach, Brian.
It's too soon, is it?
Yeah, it's bottom of the hour.
Well, we still got to get to these other ones, but I mean that's fine. Come on, let's get to it. Let's go to the break and let's get coaching here because we're on a time schedule today. We're trying to get in, and we're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's take this short break. Come back, like my man WSSU Ram said, if your team is not 1-0 or in some cases 2-0, it's hard to relate. But stay on the ledge. Don't jump. There's still a lot more ball left. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Block College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Keep talking, Brian. I'm
all right, good talk. I mean, you told me we were going to break.
I thought we were going to the break. I thought we were going. All right, I was trying to get the out ready. All right, now I'm ready. All right, here we go.
All right.
Bryan and A.D is staying in at quarterback here on fourth down.
That was McCall and Williams on the tackle.
Fourth and 14.
4th and 14, ball on the 39. Body dropping back to pass. Looking. Avoids the pressure. Oh, he's got some room in the middle of the field.
That's why you put him in.
Running at
That's
the 20,
why you put him
15,
in.
10.
That's why you put him in the game.
Touchdown, Andrew Body. Showtime, baby. That's what he does. That's what makes Andrew Body one of the most exciting quarterbacks in HBCU football.
He says, my body all over your body to North Carolina Central.
What a play by Body. The defensive breakdown. He breaks out wide open. And I mean, you talk about a tough tackle one-on-one. Man, Andrew Body, that run was about 40 yards on the run. 39-yard touchdown run by Andrew Body on 4th down.
All right, welcome back to BCSN SportsWrap, Bryan and A.D. And joining us now is our coach, Coach Farasi Norman. Coach, how you doing?
Aloha, aloha. Hey, fellas, how y'all doing? Hey, look, 1, 2, 3, we all got on black shirts. What do you say about that? Great mind think alike.
All right, well, hey. Yeah.
Can I answer a question out the chat, Bryan, before we go?
I saw you talking about Jeremiah Clark.
Yeah, Jeremiah, I'm gonna be honest, that was straight off the dome. I did not script that line. I did not think about it beforehand. That was straight off of the dome, Jeremiah. That was just instant reaction to what I saw. And for some reason, Keith Sweat popped into my head, my body all over your body as he was scoring that touchdown, and it came out my mouth.
I'm gonna tell you what, and I have, you know, in doing this broadcasting thing, I have worked with that. I think goes down as I don't know if that's the first, or I don't know if that's that is one of my top 2 lines that I've ever had tossed onto me. One time I did a basketball game with a good friend of mine, and he said, I think I can't even remember what we were talking about or referencing. It may have been somebody shooting a long range shot or hitting a 3-pointer. And he said, "Throw me on the beach and call me Sandy." And I died. I said, "Oh my God." And this was in the middle of a basketball game. And he said, "Throw me on the beach and call me Sandy." I said, holy cow. And now here comes Drew with my body all over your body. So I literally, I mean, look, right now, and that was a basketball game. This is football. So I don't know, man. That was, and I think I've had Nick Wright, not Nick Wright, but Nick Strong, do a baseball one that kind of caught me for a loop. So I've had the pleasure of doing play-by-play with some very funny people and some great one-liners, Drew. But yeah, that was classic.
EA says you sound like you wanted to join Sterling over at ASU with the broadcast PA team. And thank you, Mr.
Wow,
Figures.
Wow.
You know, we worked hard. You couldn't find the game after the weather delay. We eventually found it, but I think there were a lot of people who couldn't find the game after the weather delay. So we, Coach Farasi said he couldn't find the game after the weather delay. Somebody in the fourth quarter came and finally told us that the game has been switched over to ESPN News. It was supposed to be on ESPN 3. I had my iPad and could not pull it up on ESPN 3, so I never checked. I did pull it up on News finally, so.
Yeah, and I was. It'll be interesting to see. I was talking with someone from the OBC, and it'll be interesting to see how the numbers are affected, because obviously you will have numbers from the first half, but then the numbers in the second half will be skewed a bit. Yeah, you won't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happened there. But yeah. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to listen to it. Okay, Coach, let's get into, since we're there talking about the OBC, that's one of our top 5 games, and one of the games that you had a chance to watch or listen to, as North Carolina Central gets a 31-24 win. What are some of your first? Obviously, you said you watched the first half. I don't know if you got I don't think you made it at all into the second half. So why don't you give us some of your early impressions from the first half?
North Carolina Central.
Not good. Not good when you start with a big side, Coach. Not
pregnant pause.
Man, boy, that was a big side.
Okay, let me just say this right now. I do want to apologize, but today's is the second anniversary, or I don't know if you say anniversary, but today, 2 years ago today, I lost my father. So I got a lot going on in my head and everything like that. So that's why I took the big pause and everything like that. Nothing gets. Once again, I love being here with you guys, but that's what I'm just thinking. But I had to think. Okay, so North Carolina, they played Alabama State. I saw I'm going all the way back to like Thursday, brothers. You know what I'm saying? I was home ready Thursday. So now you hit me with that one there. So I had to get my mind thoughts. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to hit me with Jackson State first. But so they played Alabama State yesterday. Is that where that comment comes from, Drew? My body all over your body? Because yesterday was the first time I actually got to see the young man play.
Yes.
Real quickly.
Andrew Body scored.
I saw the first half. I saw him get busy. He didn't throw the ball much. I saw him run. I knew it was better run than what I thought. But real quickly, is he okay? Did he break his hand? Anybody know?
I have not gotten any confirmation on that, but from what we saw as he walked off the field, if it was not a broken hand, it was a dislocation or something. You could tell he was in obvious pain. And during that particular drive when he ran off, I actually did not see him until the ball was snapped. It was he ran the ball on first down, picked up the yards, and then he ran off, and the other quarterback was on. I saw him, but Bryan was in the middle of calling the second down play by the time I recognized Body had came off of the field. So I let Bryan get that call out. Then I brought it out that Andrew Body was on the sideline and he was holding his hand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So like I say, if it's not broken, which I'm hoping it's not, I'm just hoping it was like a dislocation or something as he ran the ball up the middle. So let's pray for the best.
We may hear tomorrow when the SWAC football coaches have their media press conferences virtually. We may find out. But yeah, I have heard that rumor, but right now it is just a rumor.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to what you were saying. The game. I thought it was a good game. You know, despite the weather, everything like that. North Carolina Central, Alabama State, the two teams predicted to come in first place. Some people say they may play for the Celebration Bowl. Like a lot of people, I was excited to see Body in a new uniform with a new team. I know they played 2 quarterbacks. They played him and other kid O'Brien at the same time. Some people were confused, like what's going on. I'm thinking already I'm thinking like a defensive mind guy. I'm an offensive mind guy, but I think like a defensive mind guy. I'm thinking here's a trick play coming. Here's a trick play coming. You don't put both quarterbacks out there at the same time, so a trick play is coming. I thought he looked okay. He's gotten bigger. You know, he's gotten bigger. Last year at Texas Southern, thought he was kind of frail, so you could tell he got in the weight room. A lot of times we as football players, when we get hurt, we get in that weight room because that's our best friend, and he got buff. I mean, when they said 6'1", 190, I was like, whoa, last time I seen the kid was like about 170, 73. So he put on some weight. He looked good. He ran the ball well. He ran the ball much better than what I thought. I would have liked to see him throw the ball a little better, but you know, he was doing it with his legs. I mean, you know, and I can't complain. He was doing it with his legs. I mean, one time it was like 4th and 20 something, and he picked it up. And I was like, whoa. Then another time he came around the corner. I think he ran over like a strong safety. I was like, oh, look at him. He ought to get his run on. So he looked good as a runner. Once again, I didn't get to see him throw the ball much. Other than him, I don't really think they had much running attack. You know, defensively, we know their head coach is a defensive-minded guy. He played in the league and all that, but they didn't really look good on defense to me. I thought North Carolina Central was coming with it. Quarterback-wise, I thought they looked okay. North Carolina Central-wise, not just real good, because I know they're replacing the guy who was like 2-time All-American or whatever he was. So they thought they ran the ball pretty successfully. North Carolina's defense was pretty good. I think they were holding them in certain situations. I saw them come up with some big stops. But what I take from that game from the first half before the rain delay was Andrew Body. And then when we switched over, I could hear you guys because I was sitting there watching another game, but I was listening to you guys. And I remember it was like 4th and something, Bryan, and he broke. I mean, I think everybody like, oh, they're going to punt it. And he broke like a 25, 30-yarder right up the middle, something like that. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this kid can run a lot better. I want to say something real quickly, though. I was listening to another platform last night. And a lot of people were saying, like, he needs to transfer out of there. I'm like, he just got there. You know what I'm saying? He just got there. And they were saying that, you know, Eddie Robinson did him wrong because he was rotating him with the other guy. I'm like, first of all, we don't even know the conversation he had with his parents when they recruited the kid. You know, like I was talking to my man A.D. earlier, and I'm going to throw some names out there, some people. Remember Hines Ward. Remember Cordell Stewart. Remember Antoine Randall L. Those guys were, what we call them, slash players. I call them athletes because they could play quarterback, they could play running back, they could play receiver. We don't know what the conversation was between the Body family and Coach Robinson when he was getting ready to make that switch. We know, and when I was walking to the gym today, I'm thinking, let's just say you were there, Farasi. What did they say? Hey, Coach. Something like this. Hey, Coach, we're probably not going to go to the league as a quarterback because HBCUs don't really get an opportunity to go at that next level. But we're more than just a quarterback. My son can play running back. He can throw the ball. He can play receiver. So if we come with you, will you use us at multiple positions? Coach Robinson probably said more than like, yes, of course. And that's why he's there. And that's what we saw last night. So when the quarterback O'Brien rolled out and hit him in the flats and they caught the ball, and everybody in the chat like, why is he catching the ball? Once again, we don't know the conversation that they had with the family. He showed me this last night. Excuse me. He showed me this last night. He's more than just a quarterback. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead, AD.
Hey, Coach Farasi, you mentioned Body on the ground. Body led all rushers on the ground. 15 attempts for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns at 8.9 average. In the air, he was only 4 of 6 for 27 yards and was sacked 1 time. Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. He can run. He runs the ball much better than what I thought. You know, I knew he threw for 4,000 and ran 4,000 while he was at Southern, everything like that. But last night just showed me, I mean, this kid can run. And he caught the ball that wasn't a body catch. You know, I mean, he caught it with the hands turned up, got the field. So once again, we don't know the conversation that his parents had with Coach Robinson. But I'm thinking after what I saw last night, it was, hey, Coach, we have to play multiple positions because we'd like to get an opportunity to play on Sunday. And Coach Robinson said, sure, I'll do everything I can to help you. So that's just me. That's just me. I don't know, but I'm just saying. What'd you say, Bryan?
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that because that's a different perspective than what has been out there. And it does make sense. The way you're saying that, the way it makes sense. And it's the reality of HBCU quarterbacks not getting drafted. We have seen very good HBCU quarterbacks, including the one that just played the last 2 years at North Carolina Central, not get to the NFL. We've seen an Alabama A&M quarterback that we thought was all world not get to the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, again, we don't know that happened, but if that happened, that's very plausible. That's appreciate you saying that, Coach.
No problem.
And not only can we not get to play on Sunday at that position, we're not even getting the opportunity to play in the spring league at that position either.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So let's talk about, okay, so real quick, Coach, if, well, I don't want to get into speculation. So just as you see North Carolina Central in that first half, this is the first year without not only Mookie Collier, who was the lead running back, but also
Davius
Richard. How would you evaluate North Carolina Central on both sides of the ball? Because I thought defensively, North Carolina Central looked very good on the defensive front as well.
I thought North Carolina Central looked pretty good. Not real good. Obviously, still got some room to go. It's a long season, but I thought they looked good. Once again, defensively, I saw some good stops. They got a lot of speed out there. Secondary looked good. Although Alabama State didn't really throw the ball much, when they did throw it, I saw 1 or 2 DBs around the ball, which says, okay, they got good ball instincts. Offensively, I think they're still trying to find out who they are. Because like I said, they lost their quarterback for, who's been the man for the last 2 years. They lost their running back. So I think they're still trying to find out who we are. But I saw them run the ball pretty well. I didn't see the ball on the ground. I didn't see them running east-west. I saw them sticking it up in there. So I was like, once again, it's early. Like I said, don't jump off the ledge yet. It's early, but I was like, okay. I'm not going to say I was impressed, but I was just like, okay, you still got to figure out who you're going to replace that quarterback, running back with. But what I saw yesterday, I was like, okay, not bad. Keep going, not bad. But my whole focus yesterday was I wanted to see Andrew Buddy, because you've been hearing about him since, transfer and everything like that. But once again, I just hope the young man is okay. And once again, Brian, I just had to throw that out there so some people will probably get some scenarios. We don't know the conversation that the kid's parents had, but he's more than just a quarterback. We found that out yesterday.
Coach,
right.
You talk about that secondary looking good. I don't know if it was a secondary looking good or the Alabama State quarterbacks not challenging the secondary, the North Carolina Central secondary. The 2 quarterbacks combined, Jonah O'Brien and Andrew Body, were a combined 9 of 17 for 88 yards, no touchdowns, 2 INTs, a longer 45, and your secondary is probably going to look good when your defensive line is putting pressure on the quarterbacks, because combined, those 2 quarterbacks took 5 sacks.
Yeah. The offensive line.
Yeah, and see, I know. I want to comment because I saw Rams different look, I just go ahead and say who that is. But anyway, WSSU Rams. He said that he missed a lot of tackles. Yes, they did. They missed a lot of Andrew Body. That's to be expected. Yes, they did. But I'm glad you mentioned the fact that they got 5. So they got pressure on the quarterback when they needed to, and I thought I thought the front for North Carolina Central did a great job of closing up the holes from the other running backs. And State had what 4 running backs, Drew, didn't they? I mean, they were shuffling running backs. They didn't have just one guy. Like Central had 1 primary running back, but they had 4, maybe even a 5th guy that they were shuffling in that lead running back position.
Marcus Harris II, 7 attempts for 28 yards. Daquan Kinsey, 8 attempts, 26 yards.
He wasn't even on the 2 deep.
Yeah, Jamari Holstar carried the ball 1 time for 18 yards.
Wasn't on the 2 deep either.
AJ Gates, 4 carries, 8 yards.
RB2, right? He was RB2. So yeah,
right.
Just tells you they had 4 backs.
Flip that over to the other side. Jamari Taylor, and
that dude.
That dude.
Taylor.
I hope Mookie Collier wrote his name on a locker in the central locker room, because everybody's going to forget about him real soon if this Jamari Taylor guy keeps doing what he's doing. He had 24. He rushed the ball 24 times for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 21, and the only other running back who had multiple carries was Arthur Rogers, who had 3 carries for 35 yards with a long of 30.
That kid Taylor's real. I mean, he was running hard and tough. He wasn't. I mean, his holes weren't just like big, but they were good enough to get him through the hole. And he was doing what a running back's supposed to do. Get me through the hole. I can take care of business.
Nice.
He was doing that there. He was like, so I agree with what you're saying, AD. You know, 1 or 2 more games like that, they'll say, who was last year? Because this kid, I mean, that guy, I was really impressed with the way he was running. He was running hard, physical, the way a running back's supposed to run, everything like that.
Let's transition off of that game. We'll talk a little more about that State and Central game a little later in the show. But Coach, let's come back. Let's go all the way to Thursday, beginning of the week. You had a chance to watch Jackson State, UL Monroe. Now, I on all honesty, that is a game that I thought Jackson State could pull the upset. I thought, hey, I'm hearing all this talk about Jackson State. Some people had them ranked number 1. I was believing. I was sniffing the salts. Believing Jackson State could get it done against an average UL Monroe. What did you see as you watched that game?
We're talking about going back to Thursday, Brian, but I'm gonna just give you a recap of what I remember real quickly. It was 14-7 halftime. Came out within 2 minutes of the third. Jackson State scored like a 6-yard run, so it's 14-14. Then after that, I don't know, maybe that upset Louisiana Monroe because I think they scored like 16 points real quick, like boom, boom, boom. And then they gave them a steady dose of the running game. Now, it wasn't a big run. They wasn't just breaking 40, 50-yard runs, but it was 4 or 5 yards at a pop. You couldn't stop them. And I was like, wow, okay. And then offensively, T.C. Taylor is in his second year head coaching. He's called plays before. The offense looked stale. And I ain't trying to down the brother. You know, I got no respect for the brother, but it didn't look like the offense that I was thinking of because, when Deion took it from him, he was a little upset. Deion gave it to the other guy. And a lot of us were like, why you take it from? But now he's the man up front, and he's calling his own plays. And I'm just thinking, some people say, well, maybe he's nervous. I'm like, nah, you can't be nervous. It's game time. You're the head coach. You're the man. You didn't want to hire an OC. You wanted this responsibility. And I just didn't see a rhythm. I saw spurts, but I didn't just see a rhythm. And I honestly had it 23-17. Jackson State, I thought they could beat them. You got 85% of your team coming back. You're coming off a 7-4. You got a second-year coach who's been coaching before. Everything was in their corner, and I'm like, hey, and plus I'm a ride with HBCU no matter what, unless it's my USC Trojans. But anyway, I was going with him. But when they ran off them 16 points real quickly and they couldn't stop that running game, I'm scratching my head like, TC, bro, what's happening? What's happening? And so once again, like we all say, it's week 1, 0 week, however you want to say it. So it's early, but I was just like, just shaking my head like, come on, man. I wanted a little more than that. Jackson State didn't look bad, but they just didn't look good, which means that's why we practice. There's room for improvement. But I was kind of disappointed because I really thought that that's one of the ones they could get real quickly. I don't know who knows. I think I put it out there on Twitter. I just want to not change the subject, but out of all the HBCUs who play PWIs, Delaware State's the only one to get a win. Shout out to Delaware State. 2 thumbs up.
Well, look, I mean, you mentioned that. We'll talk about that here in a second because that was one of our top 5 games. But I just want to come back to the Jackson State game that you saw. Now, apparently, there was no Irv Mulligan in that game. The running back, who I think is Jackson State's best running back, might be their best player. But just what did you see from the quarterback, Jacoby Morgan? I believe I think that's the name.
I thought he looked good. Sometimes he looked like he was out there by himself, running around, scrambling. Took off and ran a couple times. I knew he threw the ball well. So I had no problem with him. He needs some help though. Like I say, maybe they need to get that running back, something like that. But as far as just remembering, like I said, we're going back to Thursday. But I thought I was impressed with him. I'm like, wow, who is he? Okay, because he needs some help. But I had no problem with that kid there. I thought he looked pretty good, Brian.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
What was his numbers? Y'all got his numbers in front of you? I thought he played pretty good.
Who was that?
The quarterback, Jacobian, whatever his name is.
For Jackson State?
Yes, sir.
23 or 28 for 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, had a long of 41, and was sacked 2 times.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? I thought he had a pretty good game. Game.
I've got a game, Brian. We didn't put this on the list, but I want to quickly hit this one where 2 bad minutes cost the Southern Jaguars defeating Big D State. And it was 2 bad minutes in the 4th quarter. Game tied 7-7.
No, they were up 7-0. They were 7-0.
Right, they were up 7-0, but at the point in time, I'm talking about the game was tied at 7.
Oh, okay. You're going there.
Quarter.
See,
Yeah.
I would even go further back to when they
Go
were up
back.
7-0 about
Go
to
back
kick.
then.
Okay, in the fourth quarter, they're up 7-0, about to kick a field goal from 31 yards. 31 should be a chip shot, right?
Yeah.
They got high school kids winning contests kicking 31 yards, right? 31 yards to go up 10-0. They missed the field goal. Then McNeese State on the ensuing drive scores and ties it up to 7. Now go, Drew.
Yeah. So 3 touchdowns in less than 4 minutes of clock time, because that was the first touchdown to tie it up. How about the second one when they fumbled the ball? On the next drive, they fumbled the ball. McNeese goes down and scores in 55 seconds. 55 seconds, everybody. 55 seconds. 3 plays, 2 yards. Nothing spectacular. So they wound up fumbling the kickoff. And then after a 3 and out on a punt, McNeese scores another touchdown. 6 plays, 70 yards, and 3:23. So this goes from from Southern being able to sneak away with a great road win for the conference to bad beat in 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, one of those games. Did you get a chance to watch that one, Coach?
No, I didn't get to see that one. I just heard some clips and talked to a couple people, but they said that Southern was playing good until, like when you said that point there, and it changed real quickly. And I was just thinking, come on, Terrence Graves' first time as just been an official head coach. We once again, it's just early. That's all I can say. For a lot of teams that failed last week, it's just early. Week 7, 8, we could probably have a different conversation, but right now it's just early. But I was just sad to see that we kept coming short against these teams, and everything like that. And it upsets me because let's be real about it. They pick us because they know they can play us. They can beat us. They give us money. It's like kissing us at the homecoming. Hey, thank you. And walking us home and everything like that. But I'm like, hey, man, we got to stop that. We got to start as HBCUs.
They won't even let you go back to the hotel with them.
You know what I'm saying? We as HBCUs, we got to stop that.
Wow.
And we got to start putting people's butts, anything like that. But that's why I was so excited with Delaware State. I was like, and then somebody tried to say, well, they beat a non-scholarship. Hey, leave that alone. They won.
Hold that Delaware State. I got a question that we need to get out this chat, Coach. And you and I were talking about this earlier, and Jeremiah Clark brings up that question you and I was talking about. But I want to correct Jeremiah Clark on one team. Bruh, it ain't just SWAC teams. I saw all 4 conferences play this weekend.
Hey, Clark.
This was one of the things of the weekend was poor special teams plays, from botched snaps to holders fumbling the ball. I saw one snap back to the holder. Look, you needed to be Isaac Smith out there trying to catch the ball in order to try to spot it. It was that bad. I mean, obviously we saw block punts, we saw field goals, good snap, good hold, and then the kicker goes and blows a kick. We saw kickoffs where people coming out where they shouldn't be coming out. We saw punts where somebody should have come up and fielded the punt and they let it bounce and it cost them 20 yards of field position because it takes the role that you wanted to take. I mean, you name it, I saw it in the games that I watched this weekend. Special teams, especially the opening game of the season. Excuse my language, y'all. Why the hell we can't get it right, Coach? What goes on in those practices those last couple of weeks after you separated? You've got your starters. You've established your 2 deep. Now it's time to figure out your travel roster. I mean, is it like, oh, shit, crap? Who gonna we know who the long snapper is. We know who the kicker is and the holder. But who we gonna put up here at right guard and left tackle and everything else on these special teams? Who's getting on the bus? All right, I mean, we trying to hurry up and get some reps at last week because we realize who's getting on the bus. Is that what's going on, Coach?
I can't speak for everybody, brother, but I can say this. A lot of times in my 25 years of coaching, being around a lot of different coaches, special teams is one thing that they do like that last week. We focus on offense and defense so much, And we just think we can get special teams ready in 1 week, which obviously seeing what you just talked about and seeing what we saw last week and previous years of coming to it, special teams is very important. You gotta put that up there with offense, defense, special teams. That's why it's 3D. I mean, 3 phases to the game: offense, defense, special teams. Some coaches may practice special team once a week, Thursday, do everything and they're done. Like, whoa. Some coaches may do it at the beginning of the week. Whoa. You know, Frank Beamer, previous head coach of Virginia Tech. I went to one of his conferences years back in the early 2000s, and I got to meet the brother. I mean, you know, meet the guy. And he told me something that stuck with me, and I carry it to this day. He said, Farasi, special teams is very important in football, so make sure you practice them. I took it as in, Farasi, make sure you practice special teams every day. That's what I do, and I'm not going to stop. Every day we pre-stretch, we condition, we go right into special teams. PAT, field goal, kickoff return, punt return, hands team, water break, then we go Indy. That's every day, fellas, Monday through Friday. Before the games, we're out there. PAT, field goal, kickoff return, punt return, hands team, every day. And that's one thing I have to say. I pride myself on special teams, thanks to Frank Beamer. Because if not, I'm probably just focused on offense. Make sure we're running that ball. Or defense, make sure we're getting to the quarterback. But a lot of people forget about that. Clark Atlanta, go back and watch that game. The first, they were getting ready to do a punt. Was it field goal? Guy snaps it back there. No, punt. And it goes right over the punter's head. Right over his head. Like, very next punt, he snapped it to the punter, and it hit him in his chest, and it rolled up his helmet and went all the way over. I mean, it was comical when you saw it, but it's like, wow. And Coach King, you could just see the frustration in his face, like, what is going on? I mean, those 2 plays right there stick out in my head. One play to make everything look good, though, is Alabama State took that kickback. That little brother got some speed. They did everything right. They got their blocking. He turned the corner and put it when he went from 0 to 60. So that was probably one of the best special teams plays I saw all weekend long. About missing
Coach,
field goals.
I'm gonna say, if you're Alabama State, if you're a Central fan, that was special teams fail that allowed him to take it back to the house. So it depends on which side of that kickoff return or that punt return that you're talking about, Coach.
Well, so we don't want to just make it look like we as HBCUs couldn't do special teams. I just want to throw something positive out there. That's why I talked about the kick return team, everything like that. You threw up my chain of thought. I was getting ready to say something. Oh, okay. Remember, you guys are the same age as me. I'm getting ready to turn 52 in a couple weeks. Remember back in the early 90s, Florida State lost 3 in a row. They could have won 3 national championships in a row because the kicker kept going wide right. So when I was in junior college, I had played with a lot of brothers from Florida. So we nicknamed it Florida State. What it means by if your kicker, if he kicks it wide right, he'll say, all my, because back then I used to use the N-word a lot. So we say, all my end, he Florida Stated us, which means it was wide right. So we saw a lot of that this weekend. And I call it the Florida State. So if you ever hear me say, oh, he Florida Stated him, that's what I mean, like he wide righted it. Anything like that. But you have to practice that stuff. You can't just show up on Thursday or game day thinking special team's going to be together. I heard you say sometime, and I seen it too, one coach was looking for a guy. He's on the sideline. That's special team coordinator's fault or whoever's in charge of that. Because on me, I'll say punt team in the hole. PAT on me. Field goal. I mean, I'm making sure everybody knows, and I got my 2D. So I'm looking for Bryan A.D, come on. Then you come on, coach. I ain't got time right now. We'll talk about it later. So that's on that coach to make sure, because you assign every coach assigns somebody to that position. It could be a special teams coordinator or it's on the head coach, but he'll say, Bryan, I need you to help me. I need here, take this, because I got something else going on, but make sure everybody's on you. Yes, coach. And whoever's not on you, let me know. We're going to deal with that. Yes, coach. And then you keep moving on. But that's embarrassing. And I tell my guys, fellas, if I have to look for you, that's embarrassing. That makes us as coaches like we don't know what we're doing. And it's going to be a problem come Monday morning. So let's don't have that problem. Of course, you're going to have that problem because it's some kid over there. He's waving at his mom, his girlfriend. He's flexing and like, Farasi. Hey, Farasi, call you. Oh, you run over there and then they go. And then the coach just looks at you like, and you're like,
yeah. So you say you got a 2D for special teams also.
You got to have one. You got to.
Yeah, you should.
Normally what you do is when you get ready to travel or you ready to play, no one really puts their starters out there. Now, PAT field goal, that's usually the O-line. The holder is usually the backup quarterback, and then especially like kickoff return, punt return, those usually are linebackers, safeties, DBs, they're second teamers. You don't really put no starter out there unless he's a senior and he's got a shot at the highest level, and he's got a legit shot. So you're trying to highlight him any way possibly. He's on kickoff, he's on kick return. I mean, he's doing everything because we want to make sure when this kid leaves here, he knows Coach University of Norman. I'm gonna use me. I'm not gonna use Norman University did everything they could to help me out. Things of that sort. But normally those are the 2 guys and everything like that. And I don't really like to go, and I know sometimes I talk about me because I'm trying to sell myself, but not like a slavery, but advertise myself. But I don't really like to go a 1-2 because I don't ever want somebody to think if I'm the starter and Bryan, you're the second and you're the third. I don't ever want you to look at the coach like, well, hey, I'm coming to practice every 2. I'm busting my butt. So is Farasi that much better than me? So I go with a color. So whatever the team colors is, we're going to say red, black, and white because red is my favorite color. I'm a burgundy type guy. So we'll say red, black, white. Now, I could go with any color right before the kickoff. We're starting with white today on offense. But white's already ready because we practice. Starting with black today. Or second half, we're going to go with red to the end of the third, and we're going to go with black, and we're going to rotate. So I never really liked the 1s and 2s because I was that guy. I wasn't always a starter. And I'm thinking, I'm better than this guy, but I'm a sophomore. He's a senior. So coach is going here, and I'm thinking, that's bull crap, coach. You know, so can we gonna go with the 1s or we gonna go to 2s and you guys just stay next to me? But I'm at practice every day. I'm doing things right. You know, this guy pushed me in the hallway and I sucked my pride up because I love football. I didn't want to get in trouble. So I walk. So those are kind of things that we don't know. So when you're naming this guy 1s and 2s, it's like, well, hold on. That and you guys play sports and you know it hurts. But go by color. Red, black, yellow, green, because at any time coach can switch them. So who's the starter? I don't know, because we got to wait till game day to say, yellow up first. Oh, I'm yellow. Green up first.
Hey,
let me, and I know we're getting away from what we're talking about, everything like that, and I sure appreciate everything you guys do for me, but I just want people to know when they see me, because a lot of times when, you know, you guys have helped me so much. I just want people to know that guy has his act together. So, like I say, you know, I got my hand up, and I'm going to keep it up, and hopefully by January we get selected this year. Appreciate, Bryan, you gave me some words of wisdom in the spring when you're like, Coach, it just wasn't your turn. So I'm back. I'm here. So once again, I'm just trying to, you know, do the show with you guys and then let everybody know when they see Coach Norman, if there's somebody out there that has some pull at a university or a president, say, okay, we already know what this guy's about, so let's go get him. But yeah, I'm not really big on 1s and 2s because once again, I don't want to hurt a kid's feelings. So I go with a color because at any time I can change in any color. You know, and I let guys know if I call that color first, you better show up. Or your behind will be sitting. So far, they got the microphone like, Coach, Farasi's over there. Who? Oh, he's still here? He's still here? You know what I'm saying? So it's best that when you get out there, handle your business. Handle your business.
Coach, my famous phrase, go text your mama, ask her for $1. Why? Because you're going to need a pair of tweezers to get these splinters out your you know what. But hey, Bryan, hold your thought. We need to get this break in right quick, man.
Yeah, let's hit a break. Hey, Coach, we appreciate you. Appreciate you. Are we doing Coach's second segment, or what are we doing?
If Coach, it's up to you, because we still got some other games we wanted to get out the way.
All right, Coach, what's your time? I thought we were going one segment, but if we're going second segment, you still got time for a second segment, Coach?
On the banner, it says HBUC analyst BCSN. So I'm all in, fellas.
All right. With that said, we'll have Coach Farasi here in the second segment coming up right after this break. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan, A.D, Drew joining us for another segment. Coach Farasi Norman.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Appreciate everybody in the chats. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like button if I haven't already said it. Maybe you have. Just take a quick second. Hit the thumbs up. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching on Facebook. Okay. 2 of our 5 games we already hit on. We hit on the North Carolina Central win over Alabama State. We hit on Clark 45-42 over Fort Valley State. Another game. And, you know, the significance of the Clark game was the fact that Clark had not won in 366 days. New coach, new quarterback, get a win. Well, there's another team in our top 5, and Coach just mentioned it in the last segment. They were on a pretty big losing streak as well. And that is none other than Delaware State, who got a 17-15 win over Sacred Heart. Listen to this. Delaware State, their last win, now this is just last win, was September 30th of 2023. But we're not going to count that because that was against VUL. Their last win against an I'm sorry, I had to say that. Their last win against an NCAA team was November 5th, 2022. That was against South Carolina State. That was the last time Delaware State beat an NCAA team. So, I mean, think about what Delaware State had to go through. Coach, you did a great job of outlining all of the issues that they had last week going to Hawaii. We wondered about, hey, what would they be like coming back from that trip? Then all they do is they go out and play a great game for them. I mean, I thought they did really well. They get a 17-15 win. Jaden Sutton, the transfer running back from Lafayette, 25 carries, 142 yards, caught 5 receptions for 58 yards. They had 2 total touchdowns. And I think if I read this right, Delaware State went a second game without committing a turnover. Yeah, no turnovers for the second consecutive game. I don't know if you saw this game, Coach, but any thoughts on just the challenges, just how big of a win that is for Delaware State?
Okay, the one kid you're talking about, that's that kid I was talking about last week, number 1. Remember, I told you I thought he was pretty good. We saw him against Hawaii.
The running back,
so his numbers is good. But I can tell you what, though, Bryan, when you said September 30th, 2023, you know, September 30th is my birthday. So I'm like, oh, okay, I know that day. But that 17-15, that's a bigger win feeling in your belly, coming through your stomach, coming out, than a 77-0, because it shows all the hard work that you put in the weight room, in the spring, going back to last week with all the BS that happened, going back and from Hawaii. You know, you think you're going to have a beautiful time going to Hawaii, and it was a messed up trip. Then you come back, you have a good week, and you beat a team. You're the only team out of all the HBCUs that played, PWIs, you're the only one. You can stand up on the mountain and puff your chest and look at everybody and say, say what you want to say, but we won. We won. It wasn't big. It wasn't beautiful. It didn't have to be. We won. And you take it from there. You go back, you have a good day of filming. You continue to work that O-line. That kid, number one, he's special, so he's going to be your guy, make him your guy, and you take it from there. And hopefully they can get 2 or 3 more to start going in the right way. I mean, I don't know the coach, but I know that he's probably doing his best to get that thing turned around over there. Got to stop playing BULs, keep playing some real football, things of that sort. But, I mean, I'm just happy for them. As an HBCU guy, just happy for them because we know they've been down in the dump. People have kicked them. People have pooped on them. Kind of like Delaware State. Remember when I told you when you get your schedule out and you already put a W by somebody, people already put W's by them. So I was just happy to see them out of all the teams that play out there that are good teams. They were the ones who could stand up and look to the left, to look to the right, and have a little air in their chest for a long time. Come and say we won. So congratulations, Delaware State and their coaching staff.
Yeah.
Coach Hull, his second year at Delaware State, first win versus an NCAA opponent.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. We talked about this on Sunday Sports Lab, but of all the teams that have made the tremendous improvement from last year, just based on record, you're talking Clark Atlanta, you're talking Texas Southern got a victory, got the monkey off their back against Prairie View, and you're talking Delaware State. The one that has impressed me the most has been Delaware State for a couple of reasons, and I'll give you 3 specifically. Number one, no turnovers in 2 games, including a FBS opponent and an FCS opponent. Number 2, they can run the ball. And number 3, their defense is really leading their team. Well, Coach, you know this. What travels? Your run game travels, defense travels, and run game can play in any type of weather. So I like where Delaware State is going. Of the 3 teams that made that stride and got that monkey off their back this weekend, I think Delaware State has impressed me the most out of those 3. Bryan, we got a lot of games we need to cover. Let's see if we can go a little rapid fire with the rest of these games.
All right, here we go. Game number 4 on our top 5 took place down in Hampton. First time, I believe, since it was the 66th meeting between Morgan State and Hampton, former MEAC foes. And, of course, another year under Damon Wilson is the head coaching debut of Trent Boykin of Hampton, who was the, I think, running back and special teams coach. And look, I picked Hampton just for my love of Chris Zealous and Elijah Burris. But they even try. What do you think it is, Coach? When you start the game with an onside kick, have you ever started the season first play with an onside kick? What is that? Do you think that? What does that say about you? As a guy, I hate to do this, but what does that say when you see a coach start the season with an onside kick?
Me, personally, says he's not real sure of himself or his team, because that doesn't happen. That's what it says. He's not real sure of himself or his team, so he's trying to get the ball back to hurry and get the ball and try to run the ball and see what's going on, but that doesn't really happen. So that's me. That's me. That's Farasi Norman. That says he's not really sure of himself or his team. Morgan State won that game, correct? Hampton, they're going through some difficulties right now. They got an interim coach. I don't really know much about Hampton, but I know Morgan State's supposed to be pretty good this year. Was it a good game? What was the score?
Morgan State ended up winning 30-28. After that onside kick, they recovered, went down and scored. And Morgan State, the key stat in this game, Morgan State ran 55 times. That's right, 55 rushing attempts, 244 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. The time of possession was 36 minutes and change to about 24 minutes for Hampton.
Hey, that's Farasi Norman ball right there. I like that guy. I need to call that guy up and say, hey, congratulations, Coach.
Coach Damon Wilson. And look, one of the talking points that we came out of this, Drew, we were trying to look. A lot of people are asking, when's the last time Morgan State scored 30 points? I mean, it's a team that averaged 16 points a game last season. 16, 18, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody did the math on that. When the last time, they scored 30. But man, if Morgan State's got a sophomore quarterback, so first time starter, if they're getting that kind of commitment from the run game and they're pounding people like that, ooh,
shout out to the O-line. Shout out to the O-line, because if they're not doing their job, that doesn't happen. Shout out to the big fellas in the trenches.
Morgan State scored 30 points one time in 2023, and that was a 32-28 victory over Norfolk State on October 28th of last year. Let me flip that, Brian. They scored 3 times last season in 2023. They scored in single digits.
Ooh. All right. Well, maybe they got some offense coming there in Morgan. So let's see how.
Last thing on this game, Brian. We thought we knew who could potentially be one of the best quarterbacks in HBCU in Chris Zealous, but that was not proven on yesterday.
Show your face, B. Show your face.
Malcolm Mays, who was the 2022 starter at Hampton, got the start on yesterday. He was 13 of 17 for 168 yards, two touchdowns, while Chris Zealous was 6 of 9 for 48 yards and threw 1 pick.
I'm chalking that up to I'm adding that to my list of things I got wrong, because everyone should have a list at this point. Things you got right, things you got wrong. Yeah, I got that one wrong. I got a few things right. I got that one wrong. No lie. I'll own that. I got that one wrong.
You and me both.
Yeah. That cost me in my picks contest too, because I knew it might be a 50-50 game. Hampton was a 1.5 or 2 point. I think a 1.5. I saw 1.5 and 2.5 in various places, but yeah, man, that one had to eat a little bit of crow as that one was playing out with some Morgan State folks, no doubt. Okay, our fifth and final game, man. Coach Dennis Berry went down to Tallahassee with his South Carolina State Bulldogs, got within a quarter of ending a 20-game home winning streak for the defending national champions. But I don't know, Coach. Some fatigue set in, some bad defensive secondary assignments, and next minute you know, with an 18-7 lead after 3 quarters, the Florida A&M Rattlers do what they do. When faced with adversity, they punch back, and the Rattlers came out with a great fourth quarter, outscoring South Carolina State and winning the ball game 22-18. The Rattlers, Daniel Richardson, the quarterback, transferred from Florida Atlantic in his second start at Florida A&M, 23 of 38, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think that is the second game now that he's thrown 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, Drew.
Yes, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. And this one, Coach, how about this? The tight ends for Florida A&M. 11 catches amongst 2 of them. There's 2 primary receivers, tight ends. 11 catches, 172 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns by the tight ends.
Yeah, I hear you guys got really 2 good tight ends down there. We already know Daniel Richardson's real. He had great numbers. FAMU, you guys are still riding high. Coach Cozy stepped in. He's doing a great job for you guys. I will say this, and I think I talked to both of you guys about this the other day. I think your defense is playing well. Yeah, naturally, you're going to get better because you keep practicing it. You're going to need to get at least and let me say why I'm saying this. You won your first game by 1 point. You won this game by, 5? So that's 2 games, 6 points.
4. Yeah.
4 points, whatever it may be. So you're going to need to generate at least 6 to 12 more points. 6, that's touchdowns, that's offense. Or you're going to need to come up with at least 3 to 6 more points special teams-wise because everybody's gunning for you, especially at home. That game, all commentators kept saying is people want to knock you guys off to beat you because you got the longest win streak or something like that. What you guys got? 21 game win streak or something like that?
It's tied for the longest home winning streak in FCS football.
Yeah, so everybody wants to be that team. And I was telling my friend AD, I said you don't want somebody like Mississippi Valley or Pine Bluff, and I don't even know if you guys played them this year, to come in and next thing you know, you look up in the fourth, it's 21-17 them. Because you didn't miss the field goal, or your offense didn't just, I know you got a good quarterback, but where's your running game? I know you got that one kid, but are they running him? Everything like that. Now you guys are playing well. I'm just saying, you're 2-0, congratulations, but you're gonna have to come up with a little more offense, a little more special teams because those games are being too close. You can't keep playing close games like that.
But how about 2 things. One, offensively, production-wise, FAMU is kicking out, and I think I'm gonna shout out my guy Kelvin Rozier. I think he put this out. FAMU had about 400 yards of total offense, and these two games are right about on average with what we did last year. I think the difference in these two games is when they put the ball on the turf. They put the ball on the turf one time against Norfolk State in a bad situation while they were driving. They put the ball on the turf twice, and they missed a field goal, so probably left anywhere from 9 to 17 points on the field. But how about I'm going to choose to give credit to Norfolk State and South Carolina State because they knew who they were playing. Yes, you're playing the defending champs. There's a target on their backs. Preseason #1 in some places. I don't hear enough people giving Norfolk State and South Carolina State credit versus saying what Florida A&M is not doing. Look, it's almost 10 new starters. When we talk about the day one, I don't have the exact numbers. I know my guys EA in the chat room and a few others. If you look at the starting day one roster for FAMU, I think there's only one, maybe two guys who started game one, 2023 that are starting day one, 2024. So while some of the players played as the second string, you have some transfers, it is a relatively new defensive unit. Okay. So I think everyone's expecting the FAMU defense to be what they were last year. That's not going to happen right off the bat. Now they may become what people are used to, right? From the last 2 years, they may become that. But how about giving a little credit to the other side? And I think the two MEAC teams, Norfolk State and South Carolina State, did a good job for at least 3 quarters. And we'll see what those two teams look like later on in the year. So I just, I don't know. I'm not overreacting. I'm not on the ledge, as the title of the show says. Drew, any thoughts on that one, Drew?
Well, I'm still concerned about the defensive line, and for a couple of reasons. The obvious reason is the running game. I mean, FAMU's giving up an average of 175 yards a game on the ground through 2 games. Number one. Number two, because we know that the defensive line was one of the last set of roster spots that was filled with this current team. And those guys who've been on the backside of the defense, those corners, have been used to a defensive line who can stop a team on first, second down, get them behind the chains so that they can cover that pressure on third down. These guys who are out here on the corner are not used to covering that long. So FAMU thus far has played 2 teams that have been primarily run-focused teams. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen when FAMU gets tested against a team that's pass first, run second? So I am curious to see how that defense is going to respond in that situation, because the two run heavy teams, they survive those. They, like Coach say, it's a W. We'll take the W. But against a pass first team, once I see them against a pass first team, then I will give you my honest opinion on how far this team can go.
I'd love for you to look at the schedule and tell me who that is, because maybe with the exception of Jackson State, I don't know if it's coming from anybody in the SWAC from what I've seen so far. I mean, that's just what I've seen in 1 week, and maybe I'm wrong. But outside of Jackson State, I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Right. I guess the good thing is they're still giving up less than 300 yards a game total offense.
There you go.
Despite the heavy run games from their opponents.
Hey, look, the Rattlers play Miami this week.
I think that's a pass first team.
We get to find out. We got to find out what the defense is made of this week, boy. And how many possessions can we stay within that game? All right, Coach. Hey, as we wrap up this segment, we wrap up our time with you. Give people maybe a real quick, what's the transition like from week 1 to week 2? Give people the quick analysis of what kind of things What's that like? I have heard people say that you can see the biggest improvement in a team from week 1 to week 2.
Film, because now you got film on who's the next team over. You know who the new coach is. It's no secret now if Coach Norman's coaching his team or Coach Alfred's coaching that team. You got film on everybody now. So now you can break it down. All 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. The head coach and his guys can go to work, close the door, shut the blinds, get down there, break everything down. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, spoon feed the kids. Friday, make sure you walk through. But I'm going to say film is the biggest thing because now you know exactly who's doing what. No one's going to change anything. You know, no one's going to – if I was running wing T my first week, I'm not going to change it. And I'm not running wing T. I'm just saying if I was, I'm not going to change it going week 2. And if I'm running a 3-4 defense, I'm not going to change it to a 4-4-4. So now I got film. I know who this team is. So that gives me and my guys a better chance to break these guys down so we can feed our guys and get ready for Saturday. So I'm going to say film is the biggest thing. Real quickly, though, before we go, I want to say this. I heard you guys say earlier in the comment about the kid from Clark, Atlanta. Yeah, I remember did say he's only 5'9", and that was my fault. That's a slap on the hand. I'm going to say it out right now. My 25 years of coaching, and I've been around football since I was age 7. Hey, fellas, right now, that what's his name, David Wright?
David Wright.
He has the best arm in black college football. The best. Ooh. He's 5'9", 185. Go back and watch him. I broke him down. I watched that brother. He throws the best football at anybody that I've seen last year coming to right now to this day. That little guy can throw a football. His deep ball is just good as his short ball. His out ball is just good as his short ball or his deep ball. That brother, a couple times he had to jump up and steal the line because he's not very tall. He's not very tall. A couple times he had to tiptoe, but he throws that football very, very well.
So you're saying D1 or D1 or D2, he's the best quarterback you've seen thus far this year?
I didn't say quarterback. I said throwing the football.
Throwing the football.
Best arm. Best arm. That young man there, man. Hey, if you haven't seen him, go watch him. I was so impressed with the way he threw that football. Was like, wow. Best arm.
Can I do it to him, Brian? Can I do it to him?
Go bring it on.
What's that?
Told you so.
I'm gonna go look for a David Wright Clark T-shirt. We'll get that for Coach Farasi here. Now that he's become a fan, I know you're gonna be watching David Wright all season now. I'm gonna be looking out for this. Anyone in Atlanta up there, I know David Wright better have some NIL going on there at Clark. We're gonna get you a David Wright T-shirt, Coach. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna see if I can find one for you.
Okay, fellas.
All right. Let people know where they can find you on Twitter, Coach, if they want to reach out to you.
At Coach Farasi, or you can email me at coachfarasi@gmail.com. At Twitter, it's at Coach Farasi, or you can email me at coachfarasi@gmail.com. I want to thank all the people who've been behind me. I still get a lot of Twitters every week. Haven't got any emails lately. Probably didn't know it. That's why I threw my email out there. But I got some people out there that's on my side. I thank you, and I'm praying my prayers every day. I'm in Alabama. I'm in the country. I got 2 good guys on my side. So hopefully this year we can finish that race. Bryan, A.D, love you guys. Want to send out to my dad. You know, like I say, 2 years ago today he left me. Wasn't his fault. He had cancer. I miss him every day. He was a good dude. I mean, I tell everybody that term, a man's man. That was my dad. You too. Have a good night. I appreciate this, and I look forward to getting this party back together next week.
All right.
Condolences and prayers, Coach, to you and your family. And we definitely look forward to talking with you later. And we'll see you back on the air with us next Sunday. On Sunday, we promise we'll do a Sunday show next time. All right, let's take a break. Come back. We got to talk about the top 5 performers from the week, and maybe some winners and losers, and also start looking ahead to week number 2 in the HBCU sporting diaspora. We'll be back. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Hey, grab me one too.
This is Ryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mister, this script got a plot twist at a Radisson Hotel. A business big leaguer. Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back. BCSN SportsWrap, Bryan and A.D. here. We're going to say hello to everybody in the chat rooms or however you're watching us. If you're watching us on Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page at MyJBN Online, we thank you. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would. You can also donate to the show. You can leave a super chat if you like. You can even donate to the Cash App. I know, Drew, you've got that scroll. Maybe you can run that scroll down on the bottom there so people can see if they want to donate to the show. Also, Drew and I are doing a picks contest, a pick 5 contest. It's not too late. Even though you missed week 1, you can still join our picks contest for week 2. And if you follow me on Twitter at DRB365, or I think I may have posted this on our Facebook page as well. That's BCSN SportsWrap. There's the link to join. Now, here's the catch. If you're going to join our picks contest, right, and all you got to do is pick 5 games every week. You do have to pick it against the spread if there's a spread, and you have to designate a best bet. So you kind of get an extra bonus point when you pick, if your best bet wins, right? So the one little catch to it, all I'm asking for folks is, it's $3. I need it to kind of help. We need $3 to sort of help with the maintenance of the site. So if you choose to join us, which we'd love for you to, it's a $3 entry, and we may have a little surprise and some gifts for the winners, but we got to kind of do all the maintenance of it. So it's just a $3 entry to join us. And shout out to I think the guys, let me see, Banks. I think that's Markham Banks, Tech Rattler, and your Dubness, who went 5-0 last week. 5-0. I went 2-3, Drew. I did beat She Loves V, though. I finished ahead of Timona, so I'm happy. I finished ahead of her. Somehow she has me blocked, so I couldn't tweet at her, but that's all right. She joined the contest, so I guess we're still cool somehow, some way, even though she blocked me on that. So. I just had to put that out there. Y'all let her know. Okay. Before we do a few winners and losers, let's get to some top 5 performances. Now, I'm gonna take a little creative liberty here, Drew. I hate going outside of the box. So let's go. I got 5 plus 1. So what'd you call it? You call it a pick 6?
Six pack.
So we got a 6-pack of our top performers from week 1. And you guys in the chat, you let me know if you feel like I forgot somebody. But these are the top 6 performances from this past week. Some names that we have already mentioned. Of course, I think the leader in the clubhouse might be quarterback David Wright of Clark Atlanta. I don't have the official stats because when we looked it up online, the box score is not loaded. But what I do know, we know for a fact, David Wright threw for 416 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's a fact. I don't have the completion numbers. I don't know. Did he throw any interceptions, Drew, to the best of your knowledge?
I did not see that in the report one way or the other.
All right, so there's the leader in the clubhouse, quite possibly. Also, how about another quarterback? We mentioned his name earlier, Daniel Richardson of Florida A&M, 23-38, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, no INTs for the 2nd consecutive week for Richardson. And then I'll give you one more quarterback who may be under the radar, no one was paying attention to, and that's Draylon Ellis of Tennessee State. He was 21 of 33, 356. That's right, 56 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. Tennessee State jumped all over Valley, 31-0 before I guess the 2nd and 3rd teamers got on the field, and Valley ended up covering the 20-point spread surprisingly in that contest. As Tennessee State won 41-21. How about Eddie George may have a quarterback, Drew? That might be pretty interesting. What could Eddie George do with a real quarterback? So that's 3. Those are quarterbacks. Let me go to running backs. I got 3 running backs for you, Drew.
I got your first round draft pick.
Who you got?
Right there.
Who you got?
On the screen. Right there on the screen.
I don't see it.
What's
yes.
WSSU Rams Nation? Jada Byers.
Hey, 14 carries, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 46, 8, and 67 yards. Yes, indeed. Virginia Union doing what Virginia Union does,
676 yards worth.
A total offense. They actually gave up a touchdown in opening drive and then proceeded to go 69 unanswered points against Kentucky State. An alleged great Kentucky State defense. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna say that it's all love. I'm not even gonna say who said it, but it was said.
Another one somebody got wrong.
Yeah, Chuck. Hey, how about that's what I got right when I said Virginia Union is gonna run all over Kentucky State. I got that one right. Hear about it, and then another running back. We mentioned him earlier. How about Jamari Taylor of North Carolina Central? 24 carries, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Caught 2 passes for 18 yards, including a 14-yard reception. I believe he was the Orange Blossom Classic MVP with 3 total touchdowns in the contest. Congratulations to Jamari Taylor. And then we also mentioned this running back of Delaware State, Jaden Sutton, 25 carries, 142 yards on the ground, 5 catches, 58 yards, 2 total touchdowns. For Delaware State, and Delaware State looking pretty good. Gets their first NCAA win since 2022. So I don't know. Look in the chat. Anybody throw any other names out there, Drew? In that?
No, I haven't seen any other names, and I'm going to go. If you ask my opinion, Brian, and this is tough, man. I mean, for me, it's on the Division II level as far as my top, who I would pick number 1. It's either David Wright or Jada Byers. And I'm leaning. See, Jada Byers did it in 2.5 quarters, Brian.
Right, 14 carries. 14 carries.
He would ran for well north of 3 bills had he played the entire game. But there's no reason for him to play the entire game, especially if you're Virginia Union and you've got 2 other backs almost as good right there behind him.
That's what the coach said.
Yeah. But 7 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns, Brian, against a good Fort Valley State team. So I have to give David Wright. I have to give David Wright the advantage because
Yeah.
of who he was playing.
Yeah,
Over the numbers.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it's some impressive performances, but those are the top. Those are the six pack. And again, I'd love to see if you guys in the chats got any other suggestions. Didn't see anybody from the defensive perspective that had a high double-digit sack or tackle total, or had like multiple interceptions, and so I may have missed somebody on the defensive side of the ball, but I think offensively, quarterbacks and the running backs seem to have dominated week one.
I agree with you, Bryan.
All right, let's go. Let's be quick on this one, because I got this segment called Winners and Losers. Okay, winners and losers, and we can kind of go back and forth. Now, I don't know where I'm going to say this, okay, because I know people are curious about the attendance of the Orange Blossom Classic. Okay, the total attendance of the Orange Blossom Classic was 10,256. Okay, 10,256. That's what's reported. Now, I know that there are pictures out there where I don't know. Some of you may be able to count the number of people who were sitting in the stadium, and I mean that's going to lead to a lot of conjecture about the event. But let me say this: for the Orange Blossom Classic, how you measure success for an event and game like this is not always by the attendance numbers. A, did the student athletes of Alabama State and North Carolina Central have a great experience? Yes and yes. 2, did your television partner get a good game? Did your television partner, were they happy with the product on the field? Yes, they were. Was your visiting bureau, were they pleased by the number of out-of-state visitors that came down to South Florida? Well, yes, because you have people from North Carolina and Alabama that came to the game. Yeah. And I think there was one other point I wanted to throw in there as well. How about your sponsors? Are the sponsors happy? Yeah. So while I think a lot of people will be critical from the standpoint of attendance, right? And of course you had weather, which is what it is. You can't control the weather. But in terms of creating an experience, an event that for a first ever meeting by North Carolina Central and Alabama State, first time those two teams have played each other, right? And
ever.
The two teams, yeah, ever. How about this, Drew? The two teams were even in the same hotel. Now, can you imagine FAMU and Jackson State in the same hotel?
Hell no.
That would have been ridiculous. There's no way. You couldn't even imagine that. But yes, Central and Alabama State were in the same hotel as their headquarters hotel, right? So there were a lot of positives outside of the attendance numbers. And so I know when people jump on social media and in their various places, and that's what you want to talk about, okay, I get it. But you should know that there are other factors in which organizations and events measure success. So, all right, what do you have?
No, you hit it on the head, Bryan. There's a lot of conjecture, a lot of negative, and let's be real. At some point in time, you're going to have to get one of the two Florida teams back into the OBC for long-term sustainability, long-term success. But
yes,
it was a good case study, a good litmus test to see what happens when you don't have one of the Florida-based teams in there. Now, here's the thing. Does that classic need to see Florida A&M in it every year? I would say maybe not. Maybe there could be a rotation between FAMU and Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
Yeah, and Now, I'm for a stretch when I say this here. You think maybe the OBC may drop down to the D2 level one time and get a Edward Waters and maybe a CIAA opponent?
I don't. Well, I don't know if you could do that. I think you would see. Here's the problem. Here's the challenge. And I was talking with somebody at dinner after the game. Somebody who's a Florida, Miami resident. That market is challenging because you have a lot of, as it was told to me, a lot of fair weather fans in that community. And then when it comes to their familiarity with HBCU football, it's very thin. Now, yes, they know FAMU. Yes, they know Bethune-Cookman. But outside of that, look, if the Miami Hurricanes aren't winning, outside of maybe 15, 20,000 people, they're not going to the stadium. The Hurricanes are going to have a good year. They will draw a lot of people this year. The Miami Heat, when the Miami Heat are playing well, that basketball arena is packed. When the Miami Heat aren't playing well, guess what? There's not a lot of people going to those games. So you have the distraction of things to do. So it's hard. It's challenging for any event, especially a sporting event like this, to, you almost need to bring in fan bases that can bring 15,000 to the table. And I think that's what you had. You had Jackson State and Florida A&M, who each could bring about 15,000 people to the table. And then you add in Deion Sanders, which attracts a lot of people from South Florida because he's very familiar with that area. That was your 36, 40,000 in year 1 and 2. And so I don't know, Drew. I mean, that's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I would love to see, Bryan?
Mm-hmm.
If because I don't want to see Jackson State and FAMU down there again. And I think Jackson State fans had a lot of Miami fatigue after going down there 3 years in a row.
Oh yeah.
How about a renewal of the Tuskegee Tennessee State series? In
Tuskegee Tennessee State?
I mean FAMU Tennessee State. I'm sorry. FAMU Tennessee State in the OBC.
That would be interesting. I think Tennessee State is itching to play. And I think that Eddie, you know what? I think that would work. I think Tennessee State has the alumni base that would travel to Florida. I know they'd rather go to Atlanta, but I think that could work. I hear a lot of people talk about North Carolina A&T. I don't know if A&T travels like that.
That's another one I think would do good. A&T.
Really? You think? Okay, A&T or Tennessee State.
Tennessee State's the first round draft choice. Tennessee State's my first round draft choice. But I think A&T would do good down there against either one of those schools, against Bethune or FAMU. I think A&T would be a decent draw. Tennessee State's only going to be a draw against FAMU. And how about Howard?
It's possible. Who would they play? FAMU?
Yeah, because I don't know about Howard, Bethune, but I think Howard would do. I think Howard because of who Howard alum are. I think that game
I think they would eat up South Beach. I think they would like South Beach. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree with you on that. Well, look, it remains to be seen. Obviously, the 2025 game or teams has not been announced yet. It'll probably be a couple of months before that is finalized. A lot goes into that. Teams do have 12 games max that they can play next year, so that's a thing. And
but you have to worry about current contracts also.
You got to deal with current contracts,
and there may be a game out there.
Also,
I was gonna say there may be a game out there that's already scheduled that weekend that the OBC may say, "Hey, come play this game here instead of playing it at Stadium A or Stadium B."
There's a thought too, and it is still scheduled to be played Labor Day weekend. I know I've talked to people and they're like, "Oh, they should move the game." And yeah, it's not that easy though, because again, the attractiveness of this game is that the television partnership with ESPN is what drives this game, and its time slot of 3:00 in the afternoon is what's attractive to ESPN, because they had the USC LSU game, that was a 7:30 game, right? 7:30, something like that.
Yes.
So there's nothing right now that is scheduled in that 3:00 Sunday, and this is about programming. So ESPN wants programming. So if they can get feature or elite HBCU teams, content bands during that time slot, that would be ideal, right?
Yeah. Plus, you also got to keep something in mind. The Dolphins have not started playing, so stadium availability is also
exactly.
Labor Day weekend. Then after that, you have to get into stadium availability with University of Miami and the Dolphins, and there's only
Dolphins, yeah.
And keep this in mind, everybody. That's a natural surface. That is not turf. So they have to be creative with the schedule to make sure that grass has time to recover between games.
Correct. Yeah, and the turf did look great, man. It looked good. The field conditions, it rained, but field conditions looked nice. Okay, winners and losers, Drew. I don't know where to put that. The attendance numbers. I kind of, I kind of put that out there first because I know it kind of sits in the middle. Let me give you another winner from the weekend. How about Johnson C. Smith, head coach? Who's the head coach of Johnson C. Smith, Drew?
Mr. Red Tail Classic himself, Maurice Flowers.
Yes, I hate to do this to you, Drew, but
3-0.
After a 21-13 win over Tuskegee, he is now 3-0 in the Red Tails Classic. And you called that. That was I remember you saying that earlier, that was it's his classic. So he is now 3-0 as Johnson C. Smith got off to a great start by beating Tuskegee. Also, here's another winner for you. How about Chris Dishman of Texas Southern, ending the 9-game. We know something about ending 9-game losing streaks to your rival, don't we, Drew? Texas Southern,
and about probably 20% of this chat group that's in here chatting know something about 9-game losing streaks to their rival.
Texas Southern defeated Prairie View, and this is one of my bad picks, man. I tell you, talk about getting it wrong. It wasn't even close. 27-9. Texas Southern ends a 9-game losing streak on the road at PV, right? I mean, wow. Ends a 9-game losing streak. First career win for Chris Dishman as a head coach. I have no words because by all accounts, Texas Southern owned that game from jump.
Yeah. Bryan, Texas Southern had a 9-game losing streak. Chris Dishman did not have a 9-game losing streak. Chris Dishman is 1-0 in the Labor Day Classic now.
Well said. How about another winner? And I saw him I saw my guy in there. How about Winston-Salem State? Starting off the season 1-0. When's the last time Winston-Salem State started 1-0? Somebody tell me. I think there's somebody in the chat room who can tell me. When's the last time they opened the season 1-0?
Probably 2014 or something like that.
Back when Connell Miller was the head coach. Exactly. And a good start for who they beat up on. Bluefield State was it 34-7?
Who cares? Can we stay in the CIAA for a minute, Bryan?
Yeah. Winner or loser though? Winner or loser?
Winner CIAA, loser SIAC. And so CIAA went 3-0 against the SIAC. I'm going to take that one step further, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
The SIAC was 0-5, 0-6 against non-conference competition this week.
Ooh, yikes. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
That's definitely a loser for the SIAC.
Yeah. I saw in the chat that the Rams last opened the season 2018 with a win. 2018 was the last time the Rams opened the season with a win. We already mentioned.
Did you see the shot afterwards, Brian?
No. I'm sorry. What did he say?
Yes, we would. Yes, Skiki would love to be one of those.
Oh, wow. Ooh, see what happens when you get a win? See what happens? You get a win, and all of a sudden, man, all that tough talk. Boy, I tell you what, boy.
Can I get him a comeback, Brian? Can I give him a comeback?
Go ahead. Hit him up.
Tuskegee lose his next 200 games. Winston-Salem can win his next 200 games, and y'all still wouldn't have as many all-time wins as we would. Let's move on.
Oh, ouch, Drew. Okay, all right. We mentioned, I'm going to give another winner to Tennessee State's offense. I mentioned Draylon Ellis, the quarterback, but Tennessee State's offense put up 495 yards of total offense, of course, 357 yards passing, 31-0 through three quarters. And I had another winner for Virginia Union who got 30 first downs, 379 rushing yards, 298 passing yards for a total of 674 yards on 56 plays, Drew. And they went 69-0. After giving up 7 points to Kentucky State, they went 69 straight unanswered points to win the ball game 69-7. Yeah. Yikes. But that's the last one I got.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I said, I got a loser for you.
Okay, what you got?
Every team in the SWAC in non-conference not named Florida A&M last week.
What? Yikes.
Yes, SWAC lost all of their non-conference games last week except for Florida A&M defeating South Carolina State. And it's not that the SWAC lost. 79-0, 77-0. Alabama
Auburn put a
Auburn.
beating on Alabama A&M.
After watching Arkansas put a beating on UAPB 2 days earlier.
Yeah.
It's not that the SWAC lost, but those two games really define SWAC. Let me give you a quick winner right quick, Brian.
Well, hold on.
Going 3-3 in non-conference matchups.
Yeah. Let me come back for a second, and you can be totally honest here. After what Arkansas and Auburn did, how nervous are you for Florida A&M's trip down to play the University of Miami after what they did on the road, going to beat up on the University of Florida? I think it was like 41-14 or 41-17.
Does the word "very" mean anything to you?
What do you think the point spread on that game is? It's probably out there. What do you think the point spread on that game?
Even Alcorn against a lower rate UAB.
Yeah, was that 41?
Scored the Psalm squad of 0 against them, it seemed like. So
41-3, yeah.
Yeah. The SWAC against the SWAC of these paycheck games, we got to find a better way. That's a podcast for another day. Get your last one out, Brian, so we can go to break, and then we can get into the games for the week for next week.
Hey, FAMU is getting $700-something thousand though for this Miami game, so that's a lot of cash. But I think that includes the band going and all this other stuff. So I mean, there's stuff in it. All right, my last loser.
They're probably dead about 3 after everything is all paid out.
Yeah, 350. Okay, my last loser, Drew, and this is a big takeaway from the weekend. I'm just going to chalk it up to decision making in the final 7 minutes of a ball game. And I'm looking at Coach Trey Oliver, and I'm looking at Coach Eddie Robinson. Man, oh man, oh man. What the what's that soundbite by Vince Lombardi?
What the hell is going on out here?
I could not for the life of me understand how an experienced head coach, Trey Oliver of North Carolina Central, you're leading by 2 touchdowns with 6:51 to play. First down, you run. Tick, 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 tick. Chew up some clock. For some reason, on second down, up 2 touchdowns, they pass. And it's not just they threw a pass, but it's they threw a pass over into the middle of the field on a slant route that got deflected and nearly intercepted, right? Clock stops. I'm thinking, okay, let's run the ball. Ooh, that was dangerous. What do we do the next play? We throw the ball incomplete.
And these are not safe passes.
No, not at all. Not at all. So now the clock is stopped, and I think there was right at about 6 minutes.
5:55.
5:55. Okay, here comes the punt team. We were talking about the Alabama State special teams. Well, not only did they get a special teams return, they also got a key block because that's what happened. Block. And they are so fortunate that didn't turn into an instant score. And it gave Alabama State the ball at about the 35-yard line with maybe about 5:40 to play, right?
Yeah. Which led to that call that we played earlier. And I don't know if you remember, Bryan, and I said it when we were doing the broadcast. I saw that block coming before it came. I saw the way Alabama State shifted the line, and we talked about should they come after the ball. We both agreed that they should come after the ball, and they came from the punter's right. And if you would have saw the game, those who were able to see it the second half, he was punting rugby style, and he was always running off to the right. His right, which is where the rush was coming from. And I could see it and could not get the words out my mouth fast enough to say that he's going to block the ball. And all I remember saying is you and I said block at the same time because I was seeing it and then you were calling it, and you know it was very pretty play by Alabama State's defense.
Yeah, so Alabama State scored, obviously, on the Andrew Body touchdown, cuts the deficit to 7. Back comes out the North Carolina Central defense, or offense. Now, at this point, Drew, Alabama State still has, guess what in their pocket?
Not one,
3
not
timeouts.
2, but 3.
3 timeouts in their pocket, right? And at that point, there may have been about 3 minutes, 3 and some change on the clock, right? And maybe somewhere between 3 to 4 minutes. I don't have the exact.
It was like I think that score was like 3:35 or something like that when they scored.
Yeah. So North Carolina Central, this is what amazed me here. I'm thinking you got the 2-minute timeout coming. So essentially, you could probably get 3 timeouts called and still have 1 in your pocket for offense. Usually that's how they play it in the NFL. Not Alabama State. And again, I don't know. Maybe this is because the first year that you had the 2-minute timeout to deal with, so maybe strategically you weren't ready for it. But Central goes run play, no timeout. Central goes the second run play, no timeout. I'm like,
2-minute timeout. 2-minute timeout.
Then comes the 2-minute timeout. Still 3 timeouts in their pocket, right? So what does Central do? They run again, and I think that was the first time that they called timeout.
No, the third time is when they threw the ball, had the intentional grounding.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. They got lucky where, yes, because apparently, I swear,
which
it
means
looked
the
like
clock,
Central was
which
about
means
to
the
throw
clock
again.
stopped.
Yes, it looked like Central was going to throw again. And yes, they had an intentional grounding. And so Central gets an intentional grounding call on them. And you're like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Right,
And
because
so
there was a bad snap.
A bad snap. Harris picked it up. Instead of just falling on it, he picks it up and chucks it. But of course, it was intentional grounding. He probably should have just fell on it, right? Forcing them to call a timeout. But anyway, now you're sitting there thinking, oh my God. It's about 1:42 to play. Alabama State now still has their 3 timeouts, and now Central has to punt. Okay. I don't know if the kid from Alabama State should have fielded or could have fielded the ball, Drew, but he didn't and let the ball bounce. And it actually took a Central roll and it went all the way back. Yeah, to the 25, about 20-something yards worth, and goes down at about the 25-yard line. That's when Alabama State takes over. First 2 plays are with Andrew Body. The second play, he gets hurt, and we all know how that story ends. But, man, Drew, watching that final 7 minutes, I could, and I heard Coach Trey Oliver say this in his post game that he acknowledged
that was the first 7 minutes he ever coached in his life.
Yeah, and I give credit to him. That's a heck of a coach for owning that. That was amazing to watch that final 7 minutes, Drew.
I've got 2 things, and we're still in those 7 minutes. After Alabama State scores, Central has their hands team on the field expecting an onside kick.
Oh, yes.
There's only one player back for Central. Everybody from Central is within the first 20 yards of the spot. Basically, everybody from Central is between the 45 and maybe the 40, the opposite 40. So why not? And the returner was over on 1 hash. Kick the ball to the opposite hash, between the opposite hash and the numbers, pooch kick it, and try to have somebody run up under it and recover the ball. Opportunity.
Great recognition. Yes.
Missed opportunity for Alabama State. And during that drive, when they get the ball back with about 1:40 to go, Brian, they only use 1 timeout. Before the interception, and the interception occurred with 30 seconds to go. Why do you still have 2 timeouts?
I don't think they didn't use a timeout when Body got hurt, did they?
No, that was just a straight sub.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
They used it after that play going into 3rd down.
Yeah, crazy. It should have been used right then. It's like Body's coming off. It's like, why is he coming off? I'm like, oh, timeout. But again, that whole 2 quarterback thing, not a fan of it. I thought you
might not have to worry about it anymore.
Well, yeah, you might not have to. Yeah, but consistently taking your best player off the field, not a great strategy. Okay, let's go ahead and take a break. If you guys have any more winners and losers from the weekend, go ahead and put them in the chat room. Drew we'll see it, and Drew will put them up on the screen. When we come back, we're going to spotlight our top 5 games for week number 2 in the HBCU sporting diaspora. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel. Yes! That's how you waffle! Mr. This Script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel. A business big leaguer. Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield. Never not working.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Last question.
11 until 2022. I served as mayor of Grambling, Louisiana from 2011 until 2022, 3 terms. The city and the university are interwoven, and whatever contribution that A.D. Robinson made to the university, he also made to the city. If it were not for Booker T. Washington sending Charles P. Adams in 1901 to start the Negro Colored Industrial Institute, there would not be a Grambling State University. So that is absolutely correct. So we are joined together at the hip. I wish we were in the coming years to do it every year. I think that's so very important to keep the connection between Grambling State University and Tuskegee University.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D. here as we get ready for the Week 2 games. Drew, tell people who that was again in case they missed the intro.
That was former mayor of Grambling, Louisiana, Edward Jones, talking about the Grambling-Tuskegee game, and that's obviously that game is going to be played on this Saturday. And that was a clip from a interview that I did with him in a piece that I'm doing on this. And it's going to be, Bryan, we're going to find out who's a member, because that's going to be on that members only section of our podcast. So if you want to see that first, you're going to have to make sure that you subscribe and you are a member of MyJBN online. If not, you'll have to wait until the end of the week, until the week's over with, before you see that full piece that we're putting on, because that is a historic matchup. These two teams have met, Bryan, 3 times.
Just 3 times?
In history, not since 1949.
Wow.
Bryan, you know how long it's been since these two teams have met?
I don't know. You just said, what, 1949?
Yes. No, I'll just put this in perspective, Bryan.
Okay.
Get the 2 head coaches for Tuskegee and Grambling were Eddie Robinson and Cleve Abbott.
Ooh, wow. Legends. Legends.
The last 2 times these 2 teams met on the gridiron.
Right. And the head coaches now, we got Aaron James of Tuskegee and I can't even think of Grambling's coach right off the top of my head. Oh, Mickey Joseph.
Yes. And I get into it, the connection between the two universities, and even the who owns the series. I'm not gonna tell you right here. You're gonna have to become a member and find out by going to our members only section.
Okay, so that game, what time is that game? And I know it's obviously at Grambling in the hole. What is that, a night game or an afternoon game?
I believe that is a night game, Brian. Don't quote me on that. I have not done the matrix as far as the times go for next week. And Brian, speaking of doing matrices and times and games, I got so many texts and phone calls on Saturday asking me, where is this game at? Where can I watch this game? You know what I told all them, Brian? And you saw it on one of the chat groups that we are part of.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, y'all didn't save the article that I put out on Tuesday that had the link to every or every, as some of y'all like to say, game that was being streamed last week.
Yeah.
Game that was streamed. All you had to do was have that article saved, pull it up on your phone or your iPad, and just click on the link, and it took you straight to it. Now, you may have had to pay for whatever subscription service that it was to watch it, but at least I took you to the right place.
And I had it pinned on our Twitter feed, and I tweeted it out several times. Even on Saturday, I tweeted it out. So don't say we didn't try to give you the info, and I'm sure we'll do it again this Saturday. But maybe this time you'll heed our advice and go check this out.
And not only when you do that, share that with a friend, because there's a lot of people who, you don't have to navigate all those websites and figure out where do I need to go and everything. I've done all the work for you.
Exactly.
Fan friendly. We're trying to do more to provide you more right here at the Black College Sports Network.
All right. So we already know one of our 5 games for this upcoming weekend, Tuskegee at Grambling. I saw an interesting question in the chat room about another game. I think you had it starred.
Let's see. Right here, Lennon Blow.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most interesting rivalry game this weekend? Winston-Salem, North Carolina A&T, Virginia State, Norfolk State. Can I add another one to that one, Lennon? How about Virginia Union Hampton?
Oh, yeah.
Let's add that one to that list, Lennon.
I'm going to tell you what, Drew.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting any other rival games. One more. How about Miles, Alabama State?
Ooh.
Was not a rivalry until last year, because it cannot become a rivalry until both teams have a win.
And the last 2 seasons they split, haven't they? 1-1.
Yeah. And Miles should have won the game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
One more rivalry game, Brian. Since we're talking rivalry games, Florida Memorial, Edward Waters.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we got 5 of them there. Yikes. Where do we rank these? Another one? Come on now.
This one, I think is going to become a rival. Clark and Allen. Clark and Allen.
No.
You don't think it's going to become a
spot? No. That one cannot have the gravitas of the other 5 that you just mentioned. All right, put that question back up there by Lennon. All right. So I don't know how we're doing the top 5 for this upcoming weekend, but I know I did have Virginia State and Norfolk State pinned. I also had Virginia Union and Hampton. So in my games of the year, I had this D2, D1, Chesapeake Bay Area, Virginia, HBCU weekend circled. So I don't know if you agree with me here, but I think the Virginia State, Norfolk State game has a little more meaning than Winston-Salem and A&T. And I actually think now it's kind of interesting because Winston-Salem, big state, little state, because I think Winston-Salem has a win, and they're coming into this game 1-0. Although A&T looked pretty good against Wake Forest for a half. I got to go Virginia State, Norfolk State, because Virginia State beat Norfolk State. What was that? Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
And two, the ramifications, if it were to happen again, would be really, really bad for Dawson Odoms, in my opinion. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. I can't add enough reallys on that.
But what about Union and Hampton? And too bad, Brian. Too bad these games kick off within an hour of each other. And I'm going off the top of my head, because that would be a great opportunity if those games, if one was a 1-2 o'clock start, the other one was a 6 o'clock start, to catch both those games because of the proximity of those two universities, Hampton and Norfolk, to each other.
Well, I think the ramification of that game is it's very likely Virginia Union is the better team. So, I mean, you could theoretically, Drew, have two Division II schools beating Division I FCS schools this weekend, and that would send
in-state rivals.
In-state rivals, yeah. So, I mean, that could send alumni bases into like shock, where you having to really, the message boards and all kinds of stuff would be going crazy. And those are all what CIAA old school rivals, correct?
Yes, yeah. Everything that we're talking about, even that Winston-Salem A&T game, we're talking CIAA roots. That's the game that gets your granddaddy and your grandmama out. Those games, those type games.
Yeah. My dad in particular, he's a Norfolk State undergrad and a Virginia State grad, master's degree grad. So, like, that's his two schools. So when I talk about that Virginia State Norfolk State game having some special meaning for me and my family, but I'm going out on a limb, Drew. I think both Division II teams win.
You're not going out on a limb, Brian.
Okay, that's not going out on a limb. Okay, good to know.
No, you're not going out on a limb. Let's talk about another in-state rivalry between the Division I and the Division II, Brian.
Uh-huh.
We don't know who the quarterback at Alabama State is.
Man, yeah.
Andrew Body's there. I think Andrew Body definitely makes a difference against the Miles. Without an Andrew Body there, Miles has more than a puncher's chance in this particular game. They lost to a very good West Alabama team by 1 point.
Yeah. And the fact that Miles has beaten Alabama State, and here comes Alabama State sort of licking their wounds after this game on Sunday. A lot of questions will be. I mean, the alumni base is definitely asking questions about the two quarterback strategy. And if you lose Andrew Body, do you believe in Jonah O'Brien? I don't know about this one, man. That's won't be surprised to see an upset there either.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and give out this nugget, Brian. This is a freebie, but that Tuskegee Grambling State game, people in Tuskegee have been looking forward to this game ever since it was announced, I believe, back in February. There is going to be a lot of people going down. I believe that's 82 that takes you into from Tuskegee that direction, 80, 82, something like that, whatever U.S. highway that is. There's going to be a lot of people making that about that 6-hour ride to Grambling. Do you know, Brian, Tuskegee owns the all-time series?
What, 2-1?
2-1.
Well, that's a long one. Yeah.
Let me give you a couple other games to just mull over, Brian. We saw what Tennessee State did this past week to Mississippi Valley State. How about this week they go play North Dakota State, who just gave Colorado a run for their money and honestly controlled that game up until the fourth quarter.
I'm excited for Tennessee State because I think they have a quarterback that gives them a chance against North Dakota State. I really do. So if Tennessee State can match the physicality of North Dakota State, and that's going to be played indoors in that dome that North Dakota State has, Fargo Dome. Yeah. This I don't know if they can get the upset, but I think from a program building standpoint, this is a game that should go into the fourth quarter. It should be a competitive game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. How about two matchups between two BX schools and two fellow FCS schools, Brian? We'll start off with South Carolina State and the Citadel.
Hey, look, I talked to some South Carolina State people. They really feel like they need this win. Like I mean, just what's on the schedule for South Carolina State. This should be a must. This should be a win. And now the Citadel was not good last year. They looked better because I think they beat Charleston Southern on Saturday. So this is a game that South Carolina State, especially after blowing, and I'm going to say they blew it. You had the chance on the rope, but you couldn't finish it. You couldn't hit the right spot. And Coach Chinisbury, if you saw the post-game press conference or the post-game interview with Vaughn Wilson of HBCU Game Day, he wasn't happy. He knew hey, what's the old saying? You let him off the hook? Yeah, they let FAMU. I mean, FAMU punched back, but you had FAMU on the ropes and you couldn't knock him out. And so that's a game that South Carolina State is going to really feel like, man, when they go back and watch the film, they're going to feel like we blew it. We missed some opportunities. And so now you got to go to the Citadel and you need this win. South Carolina State needs this win. So that's going to be a tough one, Drew. That's going to be a tough one. What's the other one?
How about Morgan State and Towson?
Oh, Morgan State's got to get a win. Morgan State's got to get a win. You can't you can't pound Hampton the way you pounded Hampton on the road and then play a Baltimore City rival. I don't know if it's a rival, but let's just say a Baltimore City contest, a game against another team from the Maryland, Baltimore area. Yeah, Morgan State needs to get a win. Morgan State needs to get a win.
Yeah. Just quickly, I'll just give these games a little bit mentioned. North Carolina Central plays Elon, and Howard has Mercyhurst. Those are both of both of those are hosting those games. A couple other games. Looking at some non HBCU games, FCS, Bethune-Cookman, Mercer.
Well, I mean, I know people want Bethune-Cookman to be better this year. I'm not sure that it's hard to say because obviously you're playing South Florida. So now you're playing Mercer, who is I believe Mercer. Yeah, but they've been in the playoffs though a few years. I mean, I don't know what Mercer's record was last year.
Yeah.
But from a tradition and program standpoint, Mercer is not like Sacred Heart. Mercer is not Mercyhurst. You know what I'm saying? Mercer should be more competitive. And so what's Bethune-Cookman going to do? I think they,
Yeah. And there was one more. Mississippi Valley, and Lamar.
Well,
I'm just mentioning it. I just mentioned it quickly, Brian. Yeah. I'm gonna go down some of these check games just so people can get them. I don't think it was for the Memorials a check game. Kentucky State travels to Alabama A&M. Lane travels to Jackson State. Miles, Alabama State. Savannah State travels to Southern. Tuskegee travels to Grambling State. Looks like this is the SIAC SWAC crossover week. Looking at this type schedule.
Yeah. SWAC should go 4-0. They better go 4-0.
Yeah, they need to. Oh, I left this one off, Brian, and this is on the Division II level. This is going to be a good contest. Keep an eye on. Bowie State, Lenoir-Rhyne.
Yeah, season opener, since this is week 1 for Division II. It'll be interesting to see what Bowie State looks like. I don't expect them to be able to beat Lenoir-Rhyne, but it'll be interesting to see what they look like. Can it be competitive?
Yeah. How about can Johnson C. Smith go 2-0 against the SIAC as they have Morehouse? If Morehouse throws 5 interceptions again like they did last week, very, very well. Our first
by 17.
Our first Lynchburg sighting, Brian, they have Livingstone.
Oh, well, Livingstone with a win. There you go.
Yeah. Another CIAA SIAC matchup, Shaw, Albany State, and Shaw.
And you said last week the CIAA went 3-0, right?
Yes. They'll be 4-1 after this week.
Okay.
Because I think Albany State will get Shaw and Johnson C will get Morehouse.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get into some check games. MEAC did a good job. They're not getting any checks. They're giving a couple of checks, but they're not getting any checks this week. SWAC, on the other hand, go ahead and get the Cash App ready. Here's your list of Cash App games out of the SWAC: Florida A&M and Miami.
Cha-ching. Give me my money.
Alcorn State, 2 weeks in a row. They're going to Vanderbilt.
Cha-ching. Give me my money.
Texas Southern and Rice.
Cha-ching. Give me my money.
Yeah. We already talked about Southern Savannah State. How about a SWAC team right in the check? How about Arkansas Pine Bluff and Arkansas Baptist?
Man, y'all better beat Arkansas Baptist. You better beat Arkansas Baptist like Arkansas beat y'all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. One other game, Prairie View, Northwestern State. That'll, after what I saw from Prairie View, I would have given Prairie View a chance, but after there has to be some real soul searching between week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
Independence, Lincoln, Missouri at Quincy, West Virginia State at Barton College, Langston at Central Arkansas. And actually, Brian, I think I pretty much covered the entire football schedule right there very quickly. Central State goes to Grand Valley. And yeah, that's it. That was the last game I did not cover. Bluefield State, Concord, Lincoln, PA at Clarion, Fayetteville State, UNC Pembroke. That's going to be a good game for regional rankings right there.
So
that's the split game.
Man, so what's our 5? I mean, okay, so here's my 5, right? I got Tuskegee Grambling. Mm-hmm. Can I combine the in-state Virginia contest between D2s versus D1s? Can I just make that one?
Yeah, just give me a 6-pack then.
All right.
Since you're gonna put
Tuskegee at Grambling, Virginia State at Norfolk State, Virginia Union at Hampton, Miles at Bama State. What's that, 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
Edward Waters at Florida Memorial. The Big Cat Classic is always entertaining. Has been a good game the last 2-3 seasons, so I got that one. And then I'm going to even, I know we got some people in the chat, I'm going to even say Winston-Salem State at A&T, because the Little Rams have got a win under their belt, and they're going to come into what is that, the A&T or Truist Bank Stadium with their chest popped out, and it's a sold-out crowd for A&T for the first time since homecoming, and because A&T doesn't sell out anything if it ain't homecoming. So I mean, look, there's gonna be a lot of red in the building. I'm gonna put that one on my 6-pack.
Brian, I really cannot argue with you on any of those 6 games that you chose. I think we're going to run with your 6 this week. We ran with my 6 last week. We're going to run with your 6 this week.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll be. I'll be putting out some lines. Once I see what the lines are looking like, make sure you're following me on Twitter. I will be looking to see if there's any system plays, because when we play these check games, the point spread and the totals are like, cover your eyes. Just kind of hold your nose and take the over, and just maybe you can win a few dollars along with your university. All right, that's all I got, Drew. That's all I got.
I got you, man.
Anything else?
Man, look, we appreciate y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere on a Sunday night, because I'm so used to saying
I know
that.
you almost said
you could have been anywhere on your holiday, but you chose to be with us. But I do have a bone to pick, and I need some recommendations from people in the chat before we get up out of here. I am, can I say pissed off, Ryan?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I am pissed off at Disney and DirecTV.
Oh, what happened?
Because Disney pulled their channels from DirecTV.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
I was 38 hot when I got back. Well, when I tried to log on to the game, because by the time I got to the hotel, the game was over with. And the Tuskegee Johnson C. Smith game, not only could I not watch it on my DirecTV app on my iPad, but because that account is linked to my ESPN account, I couldn't even watch it on my ESPN app.
Wow.
So I am 38 hot at DirecTV. I know y'all wonder why the hell I still got DirecTV. I got the DirecTV.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, I was going to ask that question.
And that's on me. Because you know why, Brian? I have had DirecTV in some form or fashion since 1998.
Oh my goodness! So when you call customer service, they're like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Drew, for being a member since the last millennium."
Yeah, I got my $20 credit. I need to find out what my $15 voucher is. But I need some recommendations on what I need to do. So, I hate to say it, because ESPN is pimping the crap out of us, but to not have ability to have ESPN 3 or ESPN Plus, especially because 9 times out of 10 you have to subscribe to some other type of streaming service in order to have them.
Yeah,
is really, especially for what we do, Brian, is really putting a brother behind the 8 ball. And there's some games that's coming on tonight that I want to see. So I need to know what to go test out so I can sign up for a free trial. And hopefully by the time that free trial is over with, they done figure this stuff out. Or if I like that free trial, I may decide to keep up with it. I know I can go to Hulu Live. I can go to YouTube TV. I am looking for recommendations. Sling, Fubu, somebody give me some recommendations.
Israel Carey, he said you need to call them, Drew. He said he got a $20 credit.
I got my credit already.
Voucher. Oh, he said he got a $15 voucher to Hulu.
That's why I got to find out about my voucher. I need to go. I guess I need to log into my Hulu app and see what's up with that.
Right, I'm with you, Steve. Steve Campbell said we ain't had DirecTV since you couldn't jailbreak their cards anymore. Right, that's what I said when Drew's talking about he had DirecTV. I was like, really? You still have DirecTV?
I got DirecTV stream, but yeah.
I do want to ask this though, because the NFL season is starting this week. Hey, memo, just in case anyone didn't know, Thursday starts the NFL season.
Thank you,
Are any of you guys considering the YouTube TV package? And I ask this because YouTube TV lets you do like the 4 screens or four feeds, quad box, pretty much, of games. And my concern is, and I'm asking this so we can be family here. Nobody's listening. Are you all who do have the YouTube, can you share the password with somebody? A, don't tell. And B, I heard there's a delay, which affects those of us who utilize live in-game entertainment. Does the delay bother you? I need somebody to get at me, tweet me, either post something in the messages real quick. I'm curious about the whole YouTube TV thing. So I got that question. And then, as I said, the NFL season starts Monday or Thursday. You got a Thursday night game. You got a Friday night game in Brazil. And then you have the regular season starting on Sunday. Now,
and then a Monday night game.
And then just one Monday night game. No doubleheader. No doubleheader on Monday night.
Friday night. The second Monday night is not a Friday night.
Right. I forgot. Who is the Thursday game? It's the Chiefs and somebody. Who is it?
I don't remember. I just know the Chiefs are playing.
All right. But hey, anyway, fun fact here. Starting week 1 of the NFL season, there are 15 black quarterbacks starting for an NFL team in week 1. And Drew and I were looking this up. 30 years ago, I think, I could be wrong here, but I think there was only one. And I think that one was Warren Moon in 1994. I'm curious if anybody out there can recall quickly there being more than one starting black quarterback in 1994, other than Warren Moon.
The only other person I possibly thought of, and I did not have a chance to go back and double check on that, because we thought about those two. Detroit had 2 black quarterbacks, Rodney Peete and Andre Ware, but you did find out that Rodney Peete had signed as a free agent with Dallas that
in '94.
So
right.
I don't know if Andre Ware was still in Detroit at that time, and he may have been the quarterback. That would be the only other one that I could think of off the top of my head that may have been a starting quarterback. And we're talking about day one, because we did find out Jeff Blake wound up starting later on during that season.
Yes, right. So he doesn't
Cincinnati Bengals, if I remember correctly.
Right. That was like week 8 when Jeff Blake became the starter in 1994.
Actually, Mr. Campbell, I'm not sure Randall was in the league at that point, because Randall left the league for a couple of years.
He did.
And I think that was he was gone. Randall possibly with Philly would be another one. If he was still, if that was a year.
I think he had left though. I think Cunningham. I mean, I'm gonna take your word for it, Sonic Boom. It possibly was Cunningham, but I looked it up and I thought Cunningham had left the Eagles about that time.
I think he left in '93. Don't quote me on that.
Because
around the Buddy Ryan era, after Buddy Ryan left, Randall was pretty much out the door also, and kind of was a journeyman until he finally landed at Minnesota and took them in. That was '97, I believe, when they had that 15-1 season.
Exactly. So yeah, and it's the Chiefs and the Ravens. So you got Chiefs and Ravens on Thursday.
Ooh. Good one, Coach. We got to look that one up. See,
94. Now we're talking 1994.
But Batch, I believe that was Pittsburgh where Charlie Batch was at.
Ooh, you got me.
I think he was the quarterback at Pittsburgh. I know he played in Pittsburgh. I don't know if that was during that time that Coach Farasi is talking about. But good one, Coach.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm correct about which one, Crook. I done said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and shout out to Adrian Crook. Shout out to Adrian Crook, man. Got a birthday coming up on the 4th, man. Happy birthday to you, Adrian. I know we won't obviously be on the air. Let me see, what day is that? Is that Wednesday? Anyway, happy birthday, Adrian.
Yeah,
Early birthday shout out. Oh, so we'll be doing the sports, the O&G that night. So I don't know, shout out.
All right, Evan Moore.
But was he the day one starter? Is the question.
That's
1994. So we had two then. Possibly, we know we had Warren Moon, possibly Randall Cunningham. So just think about the progress.
Possibly Andre Ware.
Yeah, so Steve Campbell, Jeff Blake
did not start day one.
Correct. He was the starter by mid-October. Okay, so I'm seeing enough people say that, strictly day one, game one. There are 15 black quarterbacks starting game one of the upcoming 2024 season.
One quarterback short of 50%.
Yeah. Amazing where we have come. It is encouraging. And so, all right, there's that. So, all right, let's get out of here, Drew, because we got some things to get done tonight. But I want to thank everybody.
You got to go to work in the morning.
I still got tests to grade and lesson plans to finish up, man. God bless it. But anyway, y'all say a prayer for your boy. And we got work to do. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hopefully your team is 1-0 or 2-0, like some of us. And if not, back off the ledge. It's still early. The quarterback problems can be resolved. The play calling problems can be fixed. Maybe you haven't played your first conference game yet. There's still an opportunity for your team to improve.
And those of you all who are 1-0 or 2-0, slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Well said. Make sure to check out the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen to podcasts: Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcasts. That's BCSN Pod Zone. Share the show, share the stream, share the feeds with your friends and family wherever you are.
Randall started 14 games. Randall started 14 games for Philly in 94.
Okay, so two. So we had two black quarterbacks in 30 years ago, and now we're at 15. I'd call that progress.
I call that significant progress.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it. We thank Coach Farasi Norman for joining us earlier in the show. And that's going to do it for tonight. Make sure to check out Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. We'll see if there's some shakeups in Dr. Cavill's top 7, or actually he calls it the top 21, right?
Top 7.
Top 7. Okay, we'll see if there's any shakeups. Will Clark Atlanta? Here's a question, Drew. We'll end for tonight. Will Clark Atlanta move up from number 4 in the rankings?
Who was ahead of Clark Atlanta? I know Union.
I don't know.
I know Union was ahead.
Union State, maybe Fayetteville. I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to look that up.
We gonna have to. Oh, speaking of Brian.
Yeah, quickly.
Guess what else you need to do tonight? Speaking of Dr. Cavill's.
What's that?
You need to get your vote.
Oh my God! What are we voting? How's that vote? Is it top 7 or all 21?
That's a good question.
I
think it's just top 7. I think it's just top 7.
Really? All right. I'll reach out to Doc and find out. All right. Thanks for watching and listening to the BCSN SportsWrap everywhere that you listen to us, the Black College Sports Network, Jericho Broadcast Networks, and possibly the BCSN Pod Zone. You guys hit the thumbs up and the like button on your way out the door. Appreciate you all joining us tonight. And thanks again to everybody who listened to the broadcast yesterday from the Orange Blossom Classic. Be well, be safe, have a great week. Peace out, everybody.
Travel light, everybody. We'll holla. Wrong button. There it is.
Still
all right, y'all. Short week. Here we go, y'all.